if Oregon and Ohio State play 3 times, we're not accustomed to that in college football. It wouldn't blow me away next year.
What is y'all's prediction on Ryan Day's longevity if this season does not go as planned?
I think hot seat's a possibility.
Yeah, if he misses the playoffs, a 12-team playoff at Ohio State with the roster they got, I think they'd move on.
If he loses to Michigan, I think that there's questions.
Would that be a 4th straight loss to Michigan?
Straight.
Yeah.
And if it costs them the Big Ten championship or a shot at the Big Ten championship.
Or kicks them out of the playoffs.
Yeah, and it's not just the wins and losses. They have spent an exceptional amount of money on this transfer portal. And I'm sure that is Ryan Day going to the boosters saying, if you want me to get this program back, here's the money I need. Yeah. I need this amount of money for these guys. Yeah,
a reported $15 million extra dollars in NIL to get the likes of Caleb Downs and some of the others during this offseason.
And that is a win now mindset right there. Yes. And guys don't give that kind of money without wanting to win now.
This list from Until Saturday and The Athletic, all those were SEC Big Ten games, by the way. Mm-hmm. If you look at the other schedules, we talked about the Big 12 yesterday and the ACC, their best games. Clemson at Florida State, and Utah at BYU. The other 2 conferences just do not have the major games that you're going to get in the SEC and the Big Ten, which is why they've paid literally billions of dollars to get the broadcast rights for Fox and the Big Ten and the SEC for ESPN, ABC.
The old argument we used to always have about best conference is pretty much dead now, right? I mean, it's either the Big Ten or the SEC every single year. Even if you've got a champion out of the Big 12 that happens to win it all.
Holistically.
Yeah, there's never going to be top to bottom better conferences than the SEC and the Big Ten. So it's, that old argument is down to a 2-team argument now or a 2-conference argument now. And I don't know if that's going to make college football better or worse. I mean, I'm still going to watch it every Saturday, but I mean, it is, these conferences are bigger than ever. So it doesn't feel like what it would have been like had it been 2 conferences, but it's going to be 2 conferences now.
Yeah, 2 big conferences, and we'll see what the ACC and the Big 12 can carve out for themselves. And as Royal Payne said earlier, the ACC is just one decision by ESPN and ABC away from if they would to say we would let Florida State out of their grant of rights or whatever they could do to help Florida State pay off and move on to say the SEC. You could see the ACC just tumbling. I wanted to end the show with this. Emily Grace, you're just starting out in your career. Mm-hmm. Luckily, you'll have people who do their jobs for a long, long time that help you out. Larry White was early on at Alabama for me, a long-time SID there. Kirk Sampson has done a wonderful job. Josh Maxson at Auburn in Alabama for a long, long time. You worked with
David Housel, too, right?
David Housel was the first AD I ever worked with, SID I ever worked with. A guy from Georgia, Claude Felton, started working at Georgia in 1979, and he announced his retirement yesterday. And all I remember about Claude was he would always come to us when we were on radio over at Jocks and say, I can get you you'll be the only out of Georgia station that I will give it because of the relationship you had with Claude.
Yep, and did it here too, and with Kirby Smart. And he was just, the thing I remember most about him is he's just the nicest man in the world.
Yep.
Incredibly nice guy. They have a saying at Georgia, that's a damn good dog. He was that. He was a damn good dog. Yeah. Good for Claude Felton, man.
Yeah. 45 years, and there's him with UGA in his announcement yesterday. And Georgia saying thank you to one of the SEC greats in Claude Felton there. We hope he enjoys his retirement half as much as Nick Saban's enjoying his so far. Can't wait to see Claude on a boogie board. We're back with you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central Time. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.
You want to look great while supporting your favorite show? You know the place to go is the official Next Round store at nextround.store. Yes, there are .store domains, and we have one. From shirts to hoodies to hats and all kinds of fun stuff, you can rep the Next Round anywhere you go. At the beach, Next Round hats to block out that sun. Up north in the winter, get you a comfy Next Round hoodie. Just need something to put your $20 beer in at a game? Get you a Next Round koozie and throw that thing in your pocket. You never know what stuff Jim's going to make me put in there next. Check it out. It's the Next Round store at nextround.store.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Later in the show, we'll go down to Mobile and we'll have some extended sound from Kalen DeBoer, Alabama head coach, who was there yesterday, and Hugh Freeze, Auburn head coach, who was there yesterday. So we'll hear from those two head coaches and what they're saying about their programs moving forward into 2024. And we'll look at the Alabama roster from Kennington Smith III, who was on our show. He's with The Athletic. He's got a roster breakdown comparing it to last year's roster to who's left in Tuscaloosa. We'll talk about that later on. We'll get closer to the Super Bowl. We'll talk some NFL news, including a new coach there and a defensive coordinator that's left an open in Power 4 college football as a head coach. But we start with a little basketball. I cannot tell you how many times I have watched an Alabama basketball game and been disappointed with the output. In that first half last night was about the hardest watch I've ever watched in college basketball. That was the first 20 minutes of Alabama at Georgia was bad basketball. It looked like Alabama had grease on their hands and they couldn't hold on to the basketball, dribble the basketball, shoot the basketball. And they were down by as many as 16. And it felt like the whole game they were down double digits until the last 10 minutes of the game. And they still win the game, and they still cover the game.
Yeah, that's what's amazing, man. If you had Georgia plus the 6.5, wherever you were shopping this, mybookie.ag, to have a 17-point first-half lead, to be up 14 at half, and to not only lose that game outright, but to not cover, that is tough. And that was literally a tale of two halves. First 20 minutes, Georgia played really good basketball. Alabama was awful. In the second half, Alabama caught fire. And offensively, when Alabama plays like that second half of basketball in Athens last night, they can beat anybody.
Yeah, I told Lance, I saw him at trivia last night. I had to fill in last minute for our guy, Will Haver, under the weather a bit. And I said, did you see the rebounding numbers in the first half?
Yeah, I mistabulated them, Brown. At first, I thought they got out rebounded by 30, but they got out rebounded by 20. I did some quick math in my head, and I'm bad at that. But
it seems like it was easy math. It was 27-7.
Yeah. I was adding offensive, defensive rebounds together. I didn't carry my one. But
I've never seen anybody get out rebounded by 20 and a half.
Yes.
I don't know what's more amazing. I really don't. That you got rebounded by 20 and a half, or you only got 7 rebounds and a half. I don't know which one I'm more amazed by.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, those are equally disgusting numbers.
One offensive rebound. One.
I just don't know how that's possible. I don't know how that's possible. I mean, that's only effort, right? That's the only way you could describe that.
I mean, I guess you can say occasionally the ball doesn't bounce your way, but it looked like they had zero energy. And we've all been feeling sort of yucky all week long up here. And I thought to myself instantly, I said, I bet we're going to find out after the game that the flu's ripping through this roster, that something's going on. 2 guys were stuck in an elevator, delayed getting to the arena. Nick Pringle wasn't there. A coach's suspension for on the court attitude. And I just thought to myself, this team's dealing with the flu bug or something going on, because they had no energy. But then they hit 62% in the second half from the field, and they couldn't miss.
Yeah, look, and the numbers still ended up being good, 53% overall. Field goal percentage last night. Grant Nelson took advantage of that start. You mentioned Pringle not playing last night, but Nelson goes for 20. Sears obviously was great in the second half, 19 of his 23 in the second half. And, an Alabama team that came in averaging 89 points per game, they go for 85 after only scoring 27 in the first half.
Here's Nate Oates afterwards. And this is a true statement from the Alabama coach. When it comes to, if you're going to be a champion in any sport, you have nights like you had last night. And Nate Oates talked about this.
When you're chasing a league title, how important is a win like this where you're able to come in and kind of steal a game off the road?
It's huge. You can't win the league title if you don't win some of these. Like, there's going to be games you didn't play your best basketball, particularly for 20 minutes or whatever, and if you can still steal a win at the end of the day, then it's, those are the times we're almost halfway through, and with only one loss, we got to come home. You got to protect home court, but you got to win some of these on the road, because there's, games like Tennessee where we're awful and they were great, and it's on the road, and you're not going to win it. You know, since I've been here, nobody's won the league 18-0. We've won the league twice at 16-2, but you can't lose games like this. 2 years ago when we didn't win the league, and between the 2 times we won it, we lost this game here. And they were significantly worse back then than they are now, and we lost it. You got to be able to win these games. You got to have some guys with some toughness, some fight, and we had them. Like, everybody that played in that second half showed some toughness, some character, some grit. It was good. We grew up a lot tonight.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did he say they're significantly worse then than they are now?
Yeah.
Georgia was.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Georgia
saying.
was,
So
yeah.
he's still taking a shot at Georgia.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they are
83rd in the net.
No, I get that, but I mean, I think Mike White, I always thought he was an overrated coach. I never understood the Florida thing. I don't think he really did anything there, but he has not done a bad job based on where Georgia basketball was.
But I think that year they beat Alabama. Was that their only SEC win?
I think
that
they
year?
were 1-17
They
that
were
year,
1-17
if I'm not
in the
mistaken.
SEC.
Yeah.
They're
no,
4-4
but I'm saying,
in the
like,
SEC
he
now.
could have said they were awful back then,
it's
but
much better team
they're
now.
significantly worse than they are now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's basically they're shit now, but they were awful
You
back
should have seen them back then.
Nate and I are really we're about the same when it comes to use of the English language. We can paint ourselves into a corner occasionally. He did not mean that as a shot, I think. He was pointing out that Alabama had lost to a much worse team. See, there you go again, than they almost did last night. They were down 11 with 11 minutes to play. I mean, that game always felt like it was double-digit Georgia until the final 11 minutes of the game. So Alabama gets the win. We'll talk to Pat Bradley. He's in the next segment of the show. He was on the call last night. Didn't really sound like he was in the arena, though, to be honest with you.
He was.
He was?
Yeah.
It was
Either that or he's driving to Atlanta Airport for no reason.
Yeah, weird audio broadcast last night. Just didn't sound like a normal game to me. But Pat Bradley in the segment coming up. On the flip side of the state, Auburn was on a 2-game losing streak, and we all knew, Brownie called it the moment after the last loss back on Monday, that this would be an easy cover for Auburn, and it was. What was it, plus 18, giving up 18?
18 and a half last time I saw it, so it was somewhere, more than 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, but they were up 31.
Yeah.
Auburn cruises 81-54 in this game. And Bruce Pearl talked afterwards about Auburn's easy win over Vandy. And now, and we've talked about this, and now Auburn's schedule becomes quad one games. And it starts on the road at Ole Miss.
Coach, coming off those 2 losses, kind of what was your message for the guys this week, and what does it mean for you to still keep this home win streak going on?
Well, I mean, part of the messaging was it's a grind. It is a grind. We put ourselves in position. I had to really work hard tonight, make sure we just didn't have a letdown. Make sure we were excited about playing Vanderbilt. We'd beaten them by 15 up there. I don't think the kids took it for granted. I think they played pretty well. I hope that now, look, the environment at Ole Miss, it's going to be crazy. It'll be another sold-out game for Auburn on the road. They've not lost at home. Man, it's going to be, and so it's going to take some special. Like it's going to take special.
Yeah.
And I think they understand that and hope they're ready for it.
Yeah, that's Auburn. It's going to take some special down the road. Brown, you talked about their schedule, the next 5 games coming up, and includes some games that may not end up being as tough as they look, and some may be tougher than they look.
Dunaway yesterday declared, Lance, that Auburn is about to go on a 6-0 run. So they're 1-0 now. They got 5 more.
Yeah, that was the easiest one, by the way. 1-0 would have been the easiest prediction ever.
Yeah, I mean, they were playing Vanderbilt. It's the worst team in the conference.
Yeah,
so,
they've lost 14-16.
Yeah, so Justin Hokanson this morning points out, no connection to your prediction here, I don't think, but just points out their next stretch of teams includes the team that is number 1 in the conference right now, Alabama, a team tied for second in South Carolina. They're tied with Auburn for second.
Who just beat Tennessee.
Yeah, a team that is just a half game back of that team in Tennessee. A team that is only a game back in Ole Miss. Another team only a game back in Kentucky, coming off a loss last night. To another team that is a game back in Florida. And then there's Georgia.
Yeah.
So as Hoke points out, they're about to play, if you take Auburn out of the standings, they're going to play the entire top half of the SEC standings over the next 6 games that you say they're going undefeated in. That would be a heck of an accomplishment.
No, remember I said 6-0 before Tennessee, right? I don't think Tennessee is part of the next 5.
Okay.
I don't think. If I remember, it's Ole Miss, Alabama, South Carolina, Kentucky, and Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I had them losing to Tennessee.
Okay. So that stops the trend. So regardless of your prediction, Auburn is about to play the top half of the SEC. This is going to be fun to watch.
Oh, yeah. And look, in the games at Neville, I mean, you go on and you kind of just pencil in Auburn winning those games. I mean, they're 14-0 at home this year.
Like, nobody expects Alabama to go in there and win next Wednesday night.
I mean, Alabama got theirs when they won in Coleman. I mean, if you can get a split with a team like Auburn, if Auburn get a split with a team like Alabama, I think you take that.
Yep.
What is the point spread, Alabama at Auburn?
Oh, Auburn 4.5.
So about what it was for Alabama hosting Auburn.
Yeah, probably. Maybe a tad.
A touch higher.
A little bit, yeah. Maybe 5.5 for Auburn.
Yeah. The flip side, last night, Florida beats Kentucky at Rupp, I believe.
Yeah, it was at Rupp.
In overtime.
Yep.
I think it's the second loss at Rupp this year. They get Kentucky and Tennessee, who lost earlier this week to South Carolina.
At home.
At home. It's Rupp Arena, Tennessee, Kentucky, prime time on ESPN this weekend. South Carolina, who beat Tennessee on the road. Florida, who just beat Kentucky on the road. This league right now, Jimmy Dykes said last night, he says this league gets 9 in, maybe 10 into the tournament.
Ooh, that's heavy.
No, I mean, there was a time when we were doing this show together where the SEC, I think 2 was kind of the minimum.
Yeah, you were thinking if you got 4 in, we may get the 4th team in. Yeah, and now you're talking about 9 and possibly 10 teams in the tournament.
So in the net, you got Tennessee 5th, Alabama 7th, Auburn 8th, Kentucky 25th, Florida 36th, State 37, South Carolina 41. That's as far as I'm at 7 right there that I'm willing to say I think those teams are safely in. Texas A&M's 46th.
I don't know. You're sub 500 in conference, and you're only 12-8 overall.
Ole Miss is 57th. And then you're in the 80s with Georgia.
Yeah, I mean, I think Ole Miss
Texas
is
A&M and Ole Miss will give you 9.
Based on the fact Ole Miss is 18-3.
Yeah, I would like their odds. I would like their case better than Texas A&M's, to your point, right?
And Chris Beard's their coach. But as you know how the net and stuff works, if you get some of those wins, if you're around 7, 8, 9, 10, and you get some of those wins over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that helps you in the net and all of that. Fun time of year in the SEC. Show being brought to you today by our friends at Harbin's Outdoors. We'll flip it to football right after LT tells us about Harbin's.
Yeah, I was out in the backyard for a little bit yesterday. Again, Harbin's Outdoors, award-winning landscaping company. They can come out, they can sit down with you like Jeremy did with me and figure out a really good plan for you. Again, the backyard was an eyesore. I need a little space for Chili and Bullet to get out there, do a little exercise, do their business, and that's what we've got. Scotty's showing it to you right now. Absolutely loving the backyard. Harbin's does it all, from the install to the lighting, final hardscapes around the pool, everything in between. Beautiful work. You can find them on Instagram at Harbins_outdoors. See it for yourself, or call or text Jeremy directly, 205-300-0718. At Harbins, you and your home are the center of all that they do. Call them today for all of your landscaping needs, 205-300-0718.
UAB gets a gritty win on the road at North Texas in overtime, 82-79. They were down 17, and they come back to win that game last night, breaking a 17-game home win streak for North Texas. Big win for Andy's team there. Yaks had another double-double, 16-10. Samford won at home. They beat Wofford with a last-second layup by Ashore. He laid it in, 81-79. They beat Wofford last night. They're now 19-3. We had Bucky on the show yesterday. You can catch that wherever you get our podcast as well. To football. And we've got an opening in a Power 4 job all of a sudden at Boston College. That's because Jeff Hafley leaves being the head coach at Boston College to go and be the defensive coordinator of the Green Bay Packers. So he leaves the head coaching job to go and become now the Green Bay Packers defensive coordinator. And everyone who covered this story is saying it's because of what we've been talking about for about 18 months now. And it's just the craziness of the calendar in college football, the NIL, and how now everything is about money with the players, and you can't build a roster anymore.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things. Hafley is a guy that had been in the NFL for 7 years as an assistant. He's got a personal relationship with Matt LaFleur. He is at a job right now where we don't know the future of the ACC. You say the Power 4 conferences, the ACC is considered one of those right now, but Florida State's in a power struggle with the rest of the conference. If they were to bolt, then the ACC more than likely falls apart. And Boston College is one of the worst jobs there. Not only that, he was on shaky ground anyway. 7-6 this year. I think he's a pretty good coach, really good defensive coordinator back in the day at Ohio State. I don't think this is a bad move at all. You'll probably take a little bit of a pay cut, but Matt LaFleur and Green Bay are building something. They've got a really good young nucleus. So I think stability-wise and, as you mentioned, on the forefront, cutting down on the hours and not having to deal with 20-year-olds shaking you down, I'm not surprised at all by this move.
Yeah, I don't guess I'm surprised by it, Lance. It's just that I did not think we would see sitting college head coaches in Power 4 jobs leaving for coordinator positions in the NFL, Not leaving for a head coaching position. Like Harbaugh leaving for a head coaching position, not blown away at all.
Yeah, but it's almost the equivalent of Kane Womack actually leaving South Alabama to become a coordinator at the FBS level.
Which I never thought we would see either, right? I mean, when Sean Lewis, was that the guy's name? Sean Lewis did it at Colorado. I remember saying, man.
Yeah, left Kent State, went to Colorado.
We're to the point where a sitting head coach is going to leave a head coaching job to be a coordinator. So, I mean, I was a little surprised at that, and less so when Kane did it because I'd already seen it with Sean Lewis. But, I mean, now we're going to see it with college head coaches. I mean, Jeff Hafley, BC was probably paying Hafley
probably 3.5,
3.5.
Yeah,
he's probably going to make 2.5.
Yeah, $3 to $4 million. Since 1999, Boston College has been to 16 bowl games, but they have not won more than 7 games in the regular season since 2009. So they're always in that 5, 6, 7 win neighborhood on the year in, year out. They've just built an indoor facility. So they pale in comparison to Florida State and Clemson.
What do they need indoor facility for?
Yeah, it never snows in Boston.
But an interesting list of candidates from The Athletic. Jason Candle, who was the finalist for one of the finalists for the Syracuse job.
Yeah, Toledo coach.
He's at Toledo, longtime coach there. But also Ohio State offensive coordinator Bill O'Brien being mentioned there. Remember, he was 15-9, something like that, at Penn State as a head coach. Then went to the NFL with the Texans. The rest of Tuscaloosa. And,
well, he's obviously got the Patriots connection, which would, I guess, make it a popular hire in Boston. I don't think his last stint with the Patriots was all that popular, but his first one was.
Dan Mullen's name being mentioned.
I mean, he's a Northeast guy. This would be an interesting job for Mullen. Like, I could kind of dig it if I was BC getting Dan Mullen.
Yeah, I mean, I could see Mullen be able to win 7 or 8 games there.
Yeah, I think that wouldn't be a terrible spot for him.
Yeah, I think the Florida job ultimately ended up being too big. I didn't think it would be for Dan Mullen. I thought he was in a good spot at Mississippi State and more familiarity with the Northeast.
So one of those 3 people, who would you like more, Candle, O'Brien, or Mullen?
Oh, easy, Mullen.
Mullen or Candle.
Mullen or Candle, O'Brien third there. Other names mentioned: Troy Calhoun at Air Force. Again, you're scrambling, trying to find a power job in this one. Notre Dame defensive coordinator Al Golden, who was at Temple in Miami, right?
Yeah, didn't quite work. Was okay at Temple, but didn't quite work out of Miami.
Defensive coordinator at Notre Dame now. He's the guy who always wore the tie on the sidelines.
Yep. Even in Miami, it was a bad look because he was sweating right through his shirt.
And short sleeve.
Yeah. Well, you had to in that Miami Heat, Lance.
Or you just wear a golf shirt.
That's the route I would go, yes.
And Notre Dame's defensive line coach, Al Washington, who actually played at Boston College, so he could be the guy who ends up getting the job. It's an ACC job, and I don't know about the ACC in the future, how stable it is.
I think that was a factor, and you go from, we're just estimating numbers here, $3.5 million you're making in Boston, which is an expensive city to live in, to $2.5 million in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Yeah,
it's really not a drop-off.
One more thing before we get to Pat Bradley, next segment, to talk about basketball, what we saw in the SEC last night and what's coming up. The show being brought to you by our friends at Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. Leslie and her board-certified team can help you jumpstart that weight loss here in 2024. Man, January's done, man. February today. 1 month down, and if you're still waiting to jumpstart that weight loss, you're running out of time. Only 11 months left in 2024. They can help you at Way to Wellness, though. Just go to this website, aplanforme.com, and there you'll get all the details you need to sort of dip your toe into the pool of how healthy eating can help you have a healthy lifestyle. Planforme.com. No contracts, no sign-up fees, and the first consultation with Leslie is absolutely free, so no out-of-pocket money. I've had so many friends who use Way to Wellness. because of me talking about them over the last few years, and they all come back to me and said, man, that's the only thing that's ever worked for me. It's Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. The website, again, is aplanforme.com. New head coach announced yesterday in the NFL. It's Mike McDonald. He's the new head coach of the Seattle Seahawks. He's 36 years old. He becomes the youngest guy to be the head coach in the NFL right now. He's replacing Pete Carroll, who is 72. Bill Belichick was 71. He was replaced by Jared Mayo, who's 37. So Pete Carroll, 72, Bill Belichick, 71, replaced by two guys combined who are 73 years of age.
Yeah, well, I mean, you think about it. I mean, just simple math. Mike McDonald is half the age of Pete Carroll.
That's right.
And you hope you're getting another Pete Carroll, defensive guy, right?
Yeah, but listen to this journey, right? We all know him the last 2 years with the Ravens. You college football fans know him the 2 years before that when he was at Michigan as a defensive coordinator, sort of helped turn Michigan's program around. He had come from the Ravens as a linebackers guy. In 2010, not long ago, in fact, when we started our show together, he was a graduate assistant at the University of Georgia.
Yeah.
GA at Georgia in 2010 when we started the show. Then after 3 years there, he goes and becomes an intern with the Ravens in 2014. I don't know if they paid internship or not, but he was an intern in 2014. And then he worked his way up the Ravens organization from getting coffee to eventually going to Michigan and back, and now he's a head coach in the NFL. What a journey.
No, it's a crazy journey. I was looking at DeMarcus Covington, who's reportedly going to be the defensive coordinator at the Patriots. He's a Birmingham guy. And he went from GA at UAB in 2008 to an NFL defensive coordinator. No, wait a minute. In 2012 to an NFL defensive coordinator in 12 years. That's a meteoric rise.
Yeah,
I mean, it's crazy to think
your
about.
guy, Mike McDonald, man. I mean, from ball boy at Denver.
Mike McDaniel, yes.
Mike McDaniel,
yes.
Yeah. I mean, so there have been some amazing rises like this.
Yeah.
It says he graduated with a 4.0
Oh, really?
at Georgia, too. Smart kid.
that?
Yeah, how about that, man? Just, you never know. It could be a ball boy. It could be the GA. It could be a guy who's down at UAB that eventually is going to be a head coach or a coordinator in the NFL.
Yeah, it could be the former Georgia Player of the Year, like Sean McVay.
Yeah, could be. Exactly right.
Always back to Ohio receiver.
Always back to the Rams. We'll go Pat Bradley when we come back. New York Butcher Shop bringing you this part of the show.
New York Butcher Shop, just a outstanding place to stop by. I talked to our man Jim yesterday, and he was talking about some things coming up right now for the Super Bowl. They've got a Boston butt sale available for pickup Friday, February 9th or Saturday, February 10th. Reservations only. They're only $39.99 each for these Boston butt. It will take the work out for you. You don't have to get out there on the grill. Let Jim and the fine folks at the New York Butcher Shop do it for you. You can call. You can reserve your Boston butt for the Super Bowl right now. 205-970-7300. That's Sakaba Heights location. 205-970-7300 or Greystone. 205-703-8835. That's 205-703-8835. Make sure you tell them the New York Butcher Shop. The next round sent you rare quality, well done service, New York Butcher Shop.
Unlocked with Fox Sports' Brock Heward and Lance Taylor weekly at Disrupt the Media on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, if you're looking for Birmingham's best pizza, you need to stop in and see our friends at Slice Pizza and Brew. It's as local as you can get, from the ingredients that go into every pizza to the beer on tap. For a great lunch or dinner, go see our friends today, Vestavia or Lakeview at Slice.
Things fall apart. There's even a book about it, but that doesn't mean you have to break the bank to fix them. Ryan Brown here for the next round. Our friends at Mortgage Right have a new renovation option that will make repairs and other home improvements easy. If you've recently purchased a home and find yourself short on cash, or you're looking to buy a fixer-upper, Mortgage Right's renovation loan program can help you spruce up your space. Repairs can be made to your roof, plumbing, flooring, and more with the help of top-notch mortgage professionals. So get your fix by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR. And MLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you ready for a winning season in your finances? Legacy Credit Union is bringing you a slam dunk deal on their credit cards. Apply for their balance transfer and pay zero balance transfer fees. That's right, there is no balance transfer fees, and they're offering a jaw-dropping 2.99% APR for the first 6 months. Whether you're looking to clear the cord of those holiday expenses or just wanting to streamline your finances, apply online today, legacycreditunion.com. Annual percentage rate, terms and conditions may apply. See Credit Union for details. Federally insured by the NCUA.
The Next Round store is live and loaded. Check out the latest logo t-shirts and hoodies. Get your favorite team colors, the Next Round flag shirt, or grab the popular Y'all Can Have the Rest t-shirts. Go to nextround.store. That's nextround.store.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about our friends at Gutter Cap. Gutter Cap's that patented aluminum cover system that fits over most existing gutters to keep out debris and eliminate that gutter cleaning. It's backed with a lifetime warranty, almost 20-year service record right here in Birmingham. Stay off that dangerous ladder forever. 45% off the retail price now if you call guttercapbirmingham.com. Call my good friend Chris Stewart now, 205-823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it. It's Gutter Cap.
The wait is over. Tonali has arrived. Beautifully distinctive Italian styling and performance. Come test drive the all-new 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonali plug-in hybrid at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. The all-new Tonali offers best-in-class horsepower and torque, fastest 0 to 60 times in its class, plus best-in-class range with full electric charge. And best of all, qualified Tonali leasees are eligible for up to $7,500 EV tax credit factored into your lease. Hurry down to Alfa Romeo of Birmingham and experience the all-new Tonali.
The Next Round is so much more than the show you get from 9 to 1 each day. So make sure to head to our official YouTube channel at Next Round Live and subscribe to get all of our latest content. We, of course, have plenty of specialty content and shorts based all around the sports in the heart of the SEC. But we also talk pro sports, gambling, lifestyle and entertainment, and so much more. It's the Next Round YouTube channel where you never know what you're going to find next. Subscribe now to see the latest content and get notifications when we go live. That's at Next Round Live on YouTube.
Pat Bradley in just a second. We'll talk about Terry Beasley's career a little bit later on in the show. The Auburn great, the other half of the Sullivan to Beasley connection at Auburn that eventually led to Pat Sullivan winning the Heisman Trophy. But, I mean, even Alabama fans back then respected Sullivan to Beasley. They were such a dynamic quarterback-receiver combo.
I remember my dad, obviously I did not get to see them play. I was not born until 76. But I remember my dad over the years saying Terry Beasley won Pat Sullivan the Heisman. And I was like, you really? And he said, son, Pat Sullivan could throw that ball up anywhere on the field and Terry Beasley went and got it.
He did.
He said, I don't mean to say Pat Sullivan wasn't a good quarterback. He was a very good quarterback, but he could throw it anywhere on the field and Terry Beasley would go get it.
Yeah, I mean, it was not as old Alabama fans remember Joey Jones, how he would lay out and make catches. Terry Beasley, to your point, did that, in the early 70s.
Would that be your comparable Alabama model, Joey Jones?
Well, Beasley was much better.
Yeah, Beasley was better, and but to Brown's point, this guy went across the middle back when you could get laid out across the middle. He would catch it deep. He was a deep threat. You could catch it short, and he could run with it. This was back when there was only one game on television every week, and Auburn was not on television a ton. So most of my remembrance of Sullivan and Beasley come in those old coaches show films, which for some reason always were in slow motion. So I don't think you really appreciate how hard the catches are sometimes when they're in slow motion, or if they're in, you can't really judge the speed or how tough the catches are sometimes.
But the 29 touchdown receptions in that era of football is pretty crazy. 29. Think about that.
Yeah, that was right when a lot of the country were starting to adjust and come up with the wishbones and that type of thing, and a running era, 3 yards in a cloud of dust of the Big Ten. Auburn was airing it out, and Pat Sullivan wins the Heisman Trophy. But Terry Beasley passing away yesterday, one of the Auburn greats, and as Auburn football tweeted out last night, we've lost one of our all-time greats, one of 3 Tigers to have their jersey retired, old number 88, Terry Beasley. Show being brought to you today by our friends at Hemp Hill. They bring you the lock every night, lanceslock.com. Some basketball plays tonight there. Tell us about Hemp Hill. and then we'll get to our man, Pat Bradley, the shooter.
Yeah, trust that name. Birmingham's trust since 1954 for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. It is Hemp Hill Services. Hard to stop a train. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there, 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
All right, the shooter, Pat Bradley, was in Athens last night with that remarkable Alabama second half. We'll talk about Bama's win, Auburn's win, the SEC last night with the shooter, and he joins us now. What is up, Pat Bradley? How are you today?
Hey, how you doing, boys?
Doing awesome. Look, at halftime, I thought Alabama was cooked. I don't know about you watching that first half. They got out-rebounded 27-7 in the first half, Pat. So I'll ask the question, what's more remarkable, that they got out-rebounded by 20 or that they only had 7 rebounds? I don't know which one's crazier.
Well, yeah, I know. It seemed like early on, Georgia, they knew exactly what their game plan, what they needed to do. It was obviously defensive rebounding because they wanted to play fast, not as fast as Alabama, but I think their offense was better in transition than it was in their half-court offense. They had their normal point guard, Justin Hill, was battling a little bit of like the flu or some kind of, so he wasn't himself. So I think they knew they had to get into early offense. So they were dogs on the defensive rebounding. Bama turned it over a little bit early. They didn't shoot it well early. They didn't get to the free throw line at all. It was amazing. I don't even know if they shot a free throw in the first half. So, and, watching Bama, they can score so quick, like in runs. Like, in a matter of 2 minutes, they can put up 15 points. So, it was going to happen. So it was just a matter of, I think Georgia was just holding off. It's like, a bunch of bulls in the kennel. They were just holding the fence. Hopefully time will run out before these bulls break through. And the bulls broke through with 6 minutes left. Rylan Griffin played great. I think he was, he sparked them, man. Rylan's playing great. But they couldn't hold the Bulls off for 40 minutes.
Hey, you mentioned Rylan, and obviously Mark Sears has become kind of the go-to guy, 19 of his 23 in the second half. But if I asked you most upside on that roster, if I went Nelson, Wrightsell, or Griffin?
Well, the thing about Grant, dude's 6'11". Pringle doesn't play. Waggy's still trying to figure out, do I foul? Do I not foul? Although he played good minutes last night. There's no substitute for 6'11", 250. And Rylan is probably the best defender on the team. Wrightsell is a really good defender. Mark Sears is getting better. But I think Grant Nelson, what he had a battle with Tolu Smith of Mississippi State. I just think he is key because the two threes that he made in clutch time was huge. But what he gives you defensively, you got to have somebody who protects the rim or at least fights somebody down in the paint. So, yes, Mark Sears is, in contention for SEC Player of the Year, but Grant Nelson and Rylan Griffin are in contention for first-team All-SEC players as well.
Nate Oates says Nick Pringle has to decide whether he wants to be part of the team. He was a healthy scratch from the trip last night. Disciplinary reasons. Is it important for this team to get Pringle back by what you're talking about, having to have some bodies down in the paint, or can this team still win a regular season championship without Pringle?
Sure you can. No, there's no doubt about it. If I'm Nick Pringle, yes, I want to be a part of it. Think about all the per diem he's missing out on. You go on the road. I mean, he could have made about $100, right? 2 days on the road. So, and Bama's still in contention for another deep run in the tournament. It's. Listen, you know how it was when we were in college. I mean, I was thinking about a million different things. I mean, my brain was going 20 different ways. It still is going 20 different ways. And, the young man has a great opportunity to go to a great university, to play in the greatest conference that any commissioner has ever put together. So, you hope he realizes that and takes advantage of, we're living in the best times in the history of humankind. Think about it. I mean, 1,000 years ago, we'd all be throwing rocks into the river, whatever, somewhere down there in Alabama.
I love that the shooter thinks his experience as a basketball player at Arkansas remotely resembled our college experience. I mean, come on. I mean, we weren't.
You guys, come on. You guys are probably taking cheerleaders out twice a night.
Hey, I appreciate you using multiple too. The S and the cheerleaders.
When's the last time you threw a rock at a lake?
Oh, I can skip them like nobody's business. I get the little one. We go to the beach. I grew up about 10 minutes from the beach. Revere Beach, where I grew up, in Boston. It's the oldest public beach on record in the United States, the good old United States of America, Revere Beach. We used to skip. You guys ever skip rock?
Oh, heck
yeah! I can't do it in the ocean though because of the waves. It's usually on a lake or a pond.
Oh, you gotta flick the wrist. You gotta work on your wrist. Flick it. You gotta flick it.
Yeah, get the stronger wrist out of the way. Use your right hand.
Yeah. I mean, you guys are probably really good at that.
Oh wow!
Oh, come on, Pat.
Hey, so Revere Beach show,
four-time All-American, in fact,
is Revere. Is Revere Beach the scene in The Departed where Jack Nicholson and Ray Winstone take the couple out and shoot them in the head? Is that Revere Beach?
Oh, that's no. If you're gonna bury a body, you gotta do it near the Mystic River. Yeah, you can't bury it at Revere Beach. Revere Beach is known for building sand castles. If Whitey Bulger, no, you got to bury a body down near the Mystic River, and those guys buried them all down in Southie. The water's not good in Southie.
Did you have any friends that grew up as criminals?
Well, I've been told by my lawyer I cannot answer any of those questions, and none of the fellas would want me to answer those questions. But criminals, why do we got to use those words? They're friends of the family. They are just friends of the family. We call them. They're just guys who can get things done.
Yes.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I can live with that.
I'm not judging. I was just asking.
Yeah.
Maybe a better way to put it is, any of your friends growing up done any time?
Oh, sure. But yes, they did some time. We used to go. I used to have to go visit. I had a family member. We used to go visit. He did life. He got life. In Massachusetts, life is, if you get 25 years, it's called life. But he ended up getting out in 23 and a half for good behavior. They gave him a year and a half for good behavior. So, you had to go in there and visit him. And, let me tell you, they come out a little bit more angry than they went in. Let me just put it to you that way.
Was it like talking through the glass on the phone, or did you get to go face to face?
No, you went face to face, and you had to. The biggest treat was you went in there and they had the vending machine, and you bought about 10 bags of chips and 10, and everybody could eat. It was like Thanksgiving. You could eat good. when you went in and visit everybody.
Yeah, you were a heck of a basketball player. Like in a prison yard game, do you think you could have run that game?
Oh, no. I would have been. I'm not built for that. Oh, no way. Fellas, I'm built for the outside, not the inside.
You don't call a foul in those games, do you?
No. I'm on the right side of the law, fellas.
You got to block out, man.
Yeah. No, it's a fine line. I think we all know it's a fine line between the inside and the outside. And I have great friends that are in law enforcement, and they will always remain great friends. And
keep them close. Yeah.
Yes. We know, the right side of the law is always the place to be.
So more realistic Boston film, The Town or Mystic River?
Well, The Town was based on a true story. Because the town, there were bank robbers in the 70s and 80s that came out of that little community.
Yeah, Charlestown, right?
Yeah, Charlestown. Yeah. So I'm a big Jeremy Renner fan, but I'm a huge Kevin Bacon fan. And Mystic River, though, I grew up, skipping right on the Mystic River. So I mean that hits home for me. And that was a weird one, though. Oh, man, Mystic River is a weird, strange movie.
No, sad at the end, man. I remember watching it with my wife, Pat, and I was like, the movie ended. I was like, we have got to watch something funny. Find something funny for 30 minutes.
Yeah. You got to watch them all. You got to have mouthwash for your brain after that thing.
Mouthwash for your brain. He is Pat Bradley. We always love breaking down basketball with a shooter. Pat, thank you very much for the time. Safe travels today.
All right, boys. Love you, boys.
All right.
See you later.
See you, Pat, with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Hey. Some of you in the chat room are new to Pat Bradley interviews.
Rockstar, what do you think Pat was wearing right then?
Boxers.
Yeah, maybe.
That's it.
In the chat room, they were saying T-shirt and and that's it. I think it was described poo style, just a T-shirt.
Just pull the curtain back. It took me a couple calls to get Pat on the phone.
Brown, you asked the question about would he have been good in the yard playing hoops. He'd
have been an early pick.
I had a guy that graduated 2 years before me, was so good, and was recruited by a lot of different schools around here, but he ended up getting caught up in something, and he went down on a murder charge.
Right.
And he's still in right now. And I think you guys met a buddy of mine that's up here that actually he does work in the prison system.
Ministry, yeah.
And he was telling me that this guy is still a legend, as far as the basketball games.
First pick.
Oh, he said that he doesn't get messed with because he is so good at basketball.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe some more of that story and a little bit more here after you tell us about our friends at Redmond Vodka.
8 times distilled, gluten-free. The back room loves that. Pick up a bottle, locally owned and operated. Had the opportunity. I was at State Farm Arena. It's the official vodka of State Farm Arena. They were doing a cool promotion over there, activating new bars and restaurants all of the time. Really growing, great product. Ask for it by name. If they don't have it, tell them to get it. It's Redmond Vodka.
But Jay says, by the way, T-shirt with nothing else is actually called the Porky Pig.
It's not the poo, it's the Porky Pig.
I think it depends on your size, Jay.
Yeah. I would imagine
your stomach, I should point out.
I would imagine every one of those legit jail yard games though has got money on it. So I mean, it's a double whammy.
It could be cigarettes. It could be potato chips.
Yeah. It's got contraband on it.
Yeah, I mean, the word was this guy, guards would take him out and let him go to the gym, and he would just shoot around by himself
because they were going to put money on him, right?
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, because I bet the guards have got cash. And the prisoners have got cigs and, contraband.
I'll tell you this, and you might have been in there when he told the story. I think you were. There was a local coach that was still recruiting this guy, trying to get him paroled.
Yeah. He was leaning on the locals to see if maybe we could get these charges dropped.
Couldn't get it done.
Yeah. That guy was a good coach, but he didn't have that much sway.
Trying to get him to come play for the good old State U somewhere?
Somewhere, yeah.
Somewhere in the great 50.
I bet I could take a prison team.
Oh.
I don't think I could win an NBA championship.
I think you could win a national championship.
I could win a national championship in a heartbeat, though.
Yeah.
I mean, not me, but if I had a coach that knew what the crap he was doing.
Yeah.
Now, hey, we're going to get some technicals. We're going to have to overcome that. I don't think it's going to be a clean game.
Yeah, 30 games is a long season. Then you got to win 6, 2 in 3 days in 3 consecutive weeks.
But what about this?
You wouldn't have to worry. I mean, if you could go 15 deep on your roster and get some of these guys to buy in, the problem would be like if they wanted to buy in or not.
Yeah.
You know the toughness is going to be there. Have you ever heard the story where Sonny Smith was out and he needed to toughen his team? This is VCU. And I went to school with this guy, too, and he's passed away since. His name was Bob Osborne. He died in a car crash probably 15, 20 years ago. But I was talking to Sonny about him. He said when I went to recruit him, it was all about finding tough guy-like enforcers. And this guy got in a fight, and a guy punched him and knocked his teeth out, and Bob spit his own teeth in the guy's face. And he's like,
Sign him.
I'm signing that guy.
Yeah, I want him on my team.
Now, I would watch this. Like if I had a team made up of prisoners playing for their freedom, like if you win the basketball national championship, you get your freedom, I would watch the heck out of that.
Oh, yeah. Now, but are you pulling for them?
Yeah, I don't really know, but I'd be watching. I mean, if they're...
Well, it's kind of like the story we had trash on the table, the baseball team back in the day, that all-star team where they played for their freedom and they all ended up getting executed, remember?
Oh, yeah.
They didn't read the fine print.
What if that were the other side? So if you win the national championship, you get your freedom. But if you get knocked out of the NCAA tournament, we add 20 to your
Or we immediately shoot you in the court.
Or we execute you.
That'd be a good Disney film.
That would seem a touch inhumane.
Yeah. They have a good block one schedule, whatever it's called.
Oh, quad one?
Is anybody on the bubble?
Quad one.
What would be crazy is you've got to be the official in that game now. You got to be the guy who calls the fouls.
Yeah.
Negative.
Yeah. Foul 22.
We're going to let him play tonight.
He'd be like, the F you say?
We're going to let him play tonight, Jimmy D.
I got it wrong.
I'm going to need you guys to sit down on the bench over there, please.
It's like a Naked Gun when Reggie Jackson pulls the gun out. And,
Whoa.
Frank, okay.
He was safe.
He was safe. I was incorrect. Yep.
Upon further review.
Yep.
All right. Tell us about the question at Odie's last night, LT.
What came first, Justin Timberlake or Applebee's?
I'm going to say that is Justin Timberlake, my friend. I think Applebee's didn't come around until the 80s. And I think Timberlake came around in the 80s too.
Yeah, I don't know what your 4 downs consisted of yesterday, but Justin Timberlake actually turned 44 years.
Put it together. She had JT in there.
Okay, so JT, born in 1981. Applebee's, first location opened in Atlanta, Georgia in 1980.
I didn't know Applebee's was from Atlanta.
I didn't either.
Yeah,
Beat
so
it by a
there you go.
year. I knew it was an 80s thing, the Applebee's. I remember it starting.
These are some things you learn. Odie's Team Trivia, we do it every Wednesday night. The Crestline location, the newest location right there in Edgewood, corner of Oxmoor and Broadway and Homewood. Get in, see Will Haver and that great staff. Enjoy some incredible food from Rodney Davis, ice-cold beer buckets full of Bud Light. Great locations, live music on Friday and Saturdays. It is Odie's Tavern.
Everybody wins last night. Alabama, Auburn, UAB, and Samford. We will talk more about what's going on in college football and the NFL as we get closer to the Super Bowl. Teams arrive on Sunday out in Las Vegas. At 10 o'clock, starting hour number 2, everything Kalen DeBoer said yesterday down in Mobile at the Senior Bowl about the future of his program in Tuscaloosa. And at 10:25, we'll talk about Auburn and everything Hugh Freeze said down in Mobile yesterday about the future of the Auburn program going into his second year. All that's coming up in the next hour right here on the show that's being brought to you by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. This is TNR.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
For more than 40 years, Red Wing Shoes has been helping the hardworking people of Alabama. This is why Red Wing Shoes has created the 3-step comfort solution. Step 1, a certified fit specialist will use a 3D scan to electronically measure your feet and arches. Step 2, the fit specialist helps you get the appropriate footwear for your occupation. Step 3, customize your boot or shoe with a Red Wing orthotic. Whether you have a high arch or flat feet, Red Wing has comfort solutions for you. So experience comfort at its best. Visit one of the Red Wing Shoe stores located in Pelham or Trussville. Fire damage to your home or business is something you never want to consider. Ryan Brown here from The Next Round. But in the horrible event it happens, Dry Tech is here to help. They respond quickly and will reply to you within 20 minutes when you call 205-637-0143. They're working for you, the customer, not the insurance company. They've got 5 crews ready to go 24/7. Don't call the insurance company first. Call Dry Tech. Just remember this website, mydrytech.com. That is mydrytech.com.
Support the show and grab some great t-shirts and hoodies right now in the Next Round store. Buy the Alabama State map shirts in your team's favorite colors, the popular Y'all Can Have the Rest, or Next Round flag shirts are also online now. Just go to nextround.store. That's nextround.store. The traditional Next Round logo shirts are there too. Buy them for yourself, or they make a great gift for someone else. And let us know what you'd like to see in the store coming up. Nextround.store. That's nextround.store.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from The Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
Start your day online at nextroundlive.com. Get all the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. And it's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Bandwagon wants to remind you that baseball and softball season is right around the corner, and their shelves are stocked with everything your kid needs. From grip tape to gloves to custom uniforms, Bandwagon has all the gear, big and small, for those ballpark days. Until February 3rd, you spend $100 on baseball or softball equipment, and Bandwagon will give you $20 off. Just tell them The Next Round sent you. Visit locations in Cahaba Heights, Homewood, and Trustful, or go online to bandwagonsports.com. Next Round listeners, it's time to jump on the bandwagon.
Back with you on The Next Round. The Squadron getting ready for a big weekend. You got Saturday and Sunday games coming up, 7 o'clock on Saturday night, and then a Sunday afternoon contest. And we're celebrating a lot of great stuff this weekend. Remember, you can always get your tickets at the door at Legacy Arena, or you can go to birminghamsquadron.com to enjoy the great basketball down there this weekend. Here's some of the things that are going on. Saturday is HBCU night at Legacy Arena. Attend the most anticipated and highest attended Squadron games each year, so the crowd will be great, the atmosphere will be great. Bucket hats for the first 1,000 fans in attendance happening there this weekend. HBCU night at Legacy Arena coming up this Saturday night, 7 o'clock. And then Sneakerhead night is the next afternoon at 4 o'clock. Dressed in your best kicks. And first 1,000 fans there get Squadron shoelaces right there. Always $5 beer in the chill zone. It is the Birmingham Squadron. Get your tickets at the door or birminghamsquadron.com or by calling 205-719-0850. Congratulations to all of you who made it through dry January. Welcome to February. Except for Lance, who now starts his journey on dry February.
Yeah, January, we just got a lot going on. You know, we were traveling. We were in L.A. We were in Vegas. And there was just a lot going on in that month. And I've done this. This is the third time I've done it. And I've always done it in February. And one of the reasons is because it is the shortest month. Now, we do have a day that is added on because it's a leap year. I am amazed at how many people are so concerned and so negative for me taking 1 month off. And nobody believes I can do this. This will be a layup.
But didn't this happen last time? I feel like we've had this conversation before. The last time you did this, people didn't think you could do it either, and you slam dunked it last time, right?
I mean, this will not be a big deal. And I know people are saying, well, edibles. Yeah, I mean, I enjoy an edible. Again, I started doing edibles in 2020 to help me sleep, more so during the pandemic. And I do enjoy edibles, but the thing is, I love a great red wine to complement a dinner. I love a really good IPA. I love bourbons. So it's not about just getting hammered. It's about actually enjoying the alcohol. That's one of the main reasons I drink, but I just decided to take 30 days off. It was my decision, or 29 days. So looking forward to it. Hopefully, the first 2 times I did this, I did a little video, and I'm going to kind of do a social media diary of this 29-day journey. But the last 2 times I've done this, I haven't lost a pound. I haven't felt any better. I haven't slept any better. But hopefully, because I'm older now, I will get the benefits of taking a month off from alcohol.
Well, good luck to that. It is February for LT, dry February for those that did it in January or maybe have stopped altogether. Congratulations to you guys. Tonight's the 300th meeting between Lakers and Celtics. 300th time they play. They play tonight, TNT Boston, 6:30 on that contest. You just saw the Lakers the other night. You're back as a Lakers fan. They got it handed to them by the Hawks the other night. What was the atmosphere like? You missed the show yesterday.
Yeah,
coming off that trip to Atlanta.
It was obviously a packed house. Pretty tough ticket, I would say. Brown asked me this last night. I would say it's 2-1 Hawks to Lakers fans. Which, I mean, Lakers fans obviously travel. LeBron logged minutes. That Lakers team is kind of broken right now. Anthony Davis didn't play because we know about these guys trying to have the workload cut down on. Now, you know, there's that new rule. You got to play 65 to be eligible for any postseason awards. And so many contracts are tied into postseason awards. Guys are going to play 65, and that's going to be it. I don't know. Today's current NBA... it's just not as fun. It's just not. I mean, that's the first NBA game I've been to in a couple of years. Well, really 3-4 years.
Yeah, since the pandemic.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, 300th meeting, though, but at one point was one of the great rivalries in all of sports. It doesn't really have the same feel as it had, say, in the 80s.
Yeah, I just don't think people are really going to recognize this. I mean, when, you know, our generation is dead and gone, I don't think people are going to look back and be like, Lakers, Boston. Now, a little bit different when you look at other professional, like I don't even know what you would consider the great NFL rivalry right now.
Well, you know, when I was a kid, it was Cowboys-Redskins. That was the big NFL rivalry. The biggest NFL rivalry was Cowboys-Redskins.
And Commanders and Cowboys get nothing now.
No, and everybody used to point out that the Bears-Packers was the longest running, but you have to remember when I was a kid, the Packers were no good. That was when the Magic Man was the quarterback. You remember Don Magic Gronkowski?
But I believe in the 90s, though, Brown, which I think would be your heyday of adulthood, growing up, it was 49ers Cowboys, right?
Yeah, it was, because they ended up playing for the NFC a lot. The NFC went through them, but you know, they were not divisional rivals. They did not play every year in the regular season.
Yeah, 49ers Cowboy was always a bigger rivalry to me than Cowboys Redskins.
It was just hard to consider that, though, Jim, because they didn't play every regular season.
Yeah.
And Cowboys Redskins would play twice a year.
Yeah, I would have said that if Philadelphia could stay where they were first half of the season and Dallas could ever win some postseason games, that might be your rivalry, because, you know, they're playing twice a year and both brands are pretty good right now.
I don't feel like there's one. I mean, they're good, you know, like as a Dolphins fan, the Bills are my biggest rival, but I don't imagine that resonates with you guys unless they're both really good. As a Rams fan, the Seahawks and 49ers, but that doesn't resonate with me unless it's got some meaning on it.
But early 90s, I mean, Bills, Dolphins was a rivalry game because the Bills were so good and the Dolphins were their competitors.
I think Lunsford's on to something here. I mean, one of the reasons the Lakers, and there was history before Bird and Magic, but Bird and Magic really brought the NBA back. And it seemed like, and it was almost, you know, the suburban white kid wanted to go the way of
that's the way it always
Larry
was.
Bird, and, you know, urban kid wanted to go the way of the Lakers. Now, I went a little different path. I was a Lakers guy, and we remember Choose Your Weapon, the Converse, the great campaign back in the day when Converse actually had the majority of kids wearing their shoes as opposed to Nike. But I think that independent rivalry really blew up what was the Lakers and Celtics to another dimension. And I think Lunsford's onto it. I think it's more about individual rivalries now.
Yeah, it is. It's player versus player. And you get a lot of that in the NFL too, is just watching player versus player. It's when LeBron plays somebody, or, you know, in the NFL, seeing Patrick Mahomes go up against, you know, Josh Allen or something like that. You get a lot of that.
Yeah.
The player versus player aspect.
20 years ago today is the Janet Jackson malfunction Super Bowl halftime with Justin Timberlake, whose birthday was yesterday.
It's crazy how things come full circle. I remember that entire Sunday like verbatim, because I was out in Houston And it was a lot of fun. But again, being in the crowd back before social media, and that was before social media, I had no idea until I went on the air the next day with Scott Griffin from my hotel room that had gone down.
Yep. And now everyone's worried about Taylor Swift in this Super Bowl. 20 years ago, it was what I still think was a pasty-covered nipple.
Oh, it was 1,000% premeditated.
Yeah, and so that was 20 years ago. And for you kids who don't know what we're talking about, go look that up. It was
you got YouTube for
changed,
it now.
It changed live television, and it launched YouTube. Right?
Yeah. Oh, really. yeah. That's what YouTube, what was it, Rockstar? They were trying to find video of it. They couldn't.
Yeah, people were looking for that. Also, Google Images was found by Jennifer Lopez wearing that green dress that was very revealing. People were trying to find that, and Google was like, let's just do a Google image search. It all comes back to sex, guys.
Perversion.
But that you guys watching for the couch may be a little different than being actually inside of Reliant at that point. That halftime, it seemed like a mess, the whole show, because wasn't it? Was JT, it was Janet Jackson, Kid Rock was up there, Steven Tyler.
Yeah, it was one of the first. What's it called when
Pepsi?
when it's all come together, where it's not just one artist. But we were at Buffalo Wild Wings 280.
I had no idea it happened. I was watching live, and it's just is the end of the show. He reaches over, he grabs. I guess I can remember the piece coming off, but I just assumed something was over it.
I was on the projection television.
Yeah.
I was probably ordering more wings. I didn't know a nipple had popped in on the screen.
2023, you had like a 9-month pregnant Rihanna dry hump in the air. That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
She's a mother.
It's a new world.
No, but the best halftime, though, was just watching people salivate over Shakira and J-Lo.
Yeah.
Because it was nothing but ass in that one.
Top of the hour now. When we come back, we will get into what DeBoer said yesterday, Alabama's new coach down in Mobile, and Hugh Freeze coming up. Show being brought to you by our friends at the World of Wheels. Big weekend going on down there. Keep your wardrobes from being malfunctioned, and go check out the cars of the future.
We are going to be there tomorrow. The World of Wheels will be there 3 to 4. You also get to see Mick Foley, Mankind, who will be there tomorrow. And over the weekend,
Mick Foley is Mankind?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that. So Mick Foley is Mankind. There's not two different people?
Dr. Jekyll is Mr. Hyde, too.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
So Mick Foley is Mankind.
Are you playing a part here?
No,
you did not know Mick Foley was Mankind.
So wrestler Mankind and Mick Foley are the same people.
Correct.
I did not know that. Though they were two separate individuals.
I wish you wouldn't interview like that. Well, when is Mankind coming, Mick? Did you ever talk to him?
I was told Mankind would be here, but it's only Mick Foley. He's going to be there. He's also Cactus Jack.
That's what Chris is saying. He used to be Cactus Jack.
Yes.
Well, I'm totally confused now.
Okay. Hey, so World of Wheels is going to be there. O'Reilly Auto Part World of Wheels. Coming up this weekend, everyone's seeing automobiles in Birmingham. Mankind, Mick Foley is going to be there Friday. Ken Dickett of Ken Dickett Designs over the weekend on Saturday. Also, Jerry Mathers. Jim, he was the beaver. Jerry Mathers was.
That's way before my time.
I
always hate that reference.
The Beeve. That is Friday, Saturday, Sunday, BJCC. You get tickets at any O'Reilly Auto Parts locally. See more at worldofwheels.net, worldofwheels.net. The O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Dude Love 2? That was Dude Love 2?
World of Wheels. O'Reilly Auto Parts, World of Wheels at the BJCC this weekend.
This guy's schizophrenic.
Never miss anything Auburn. Watch Village Vice at Wardam Pods on YouTube and listen wherever you get your podcasts.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live will share the latest interviews and videos from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and campuses all over the college landscape. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Live Daily Show. Jim, Lance, and Ryan will share their thoughts, and remember, you can always see the old shows on the Next Round Live YouTube channel. Subscribe, like, and don't forget to comment. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. It's Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
Make sure to start your day at nextroundlive.com. Get caught up on the latest podcasts and videos from the Live Daily Show, plus specialty shows such as the Mystery Fifth Hour. You can also learn more about the whole staff at Double Down Media, find all of our social media feeds, see the latest videos from our YouTube channel and gaming channel, plus find other ways to consume the show like the Next Round mobile app, which you can download direct from the site via your iOS and Android device. Make nextroundlive.com your homepage and stay up to date with everything from us here at the Next Round.
There are so many things I love about Walk-Ons. Authentic, mouth-watering Louisiana cuisine prepared fresh daily from scratch. A great beer selection and TVs everywhere to watch the big game every day of the week. And of course, they've got 2 great locations on Highway 280 and 119 and at Hoover near the Hoover Met. Walk-Ons is also a great place for happy hour, 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with $5 moonshine swirls, $5 house pours, and half-price appetizers. And it's an easy take-home experience for the family as well. Highway 280 in Hoover with Walk-Ons.
Fire damage to your home or business is something you never want to consider. Ryan Brown here from The Next Round. But in the horrible event it happens, Dry Tech is here to help. They respond quickly and will reply to you within 20 minutes when you call 205-637-0143. They're working for you, the customer, not the insurance company. They've got 5 crews ready to go 24/7. Don't call the insurance company first. Call Dry Tech. Just remember this website, mydrytech.com. That is mydrytech.com.
Bandwagon wants to remind you that baseball and softball season is right around the corner and their shelves are stocked with everything your kid needs. From grip tape to gloves to custom uniforms, Bandwagon has all the gear, big and small, for those ballpark days. Until February 3rd, you spend $100 on baseball or softball equipment and Bandwagon will give you $20 off. Just tell them The Next Round sent you. Visit locations in Cahaba Heights, Homewood, and Trustful, or go online to bandwagonsports.com. Next Round listeners, it's time to jump on the bandwagon.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast. The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and our entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios. The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
We're about to talk a little Alabama and Auburn football. A coach is speaking to the media down at the Senior Bowl yesterday in Mobile. Last big day of practice down there at the Senior Bowl. The game coming up this weekend. It's been beautiful weather all week down at the Gulf. Can't wait to hear from the 2 coaches here. This hour of the show being brought to you by our friends at Legacy. By the way, Brown, yeah. I know later on we've got Rockstar's 4 Downs this hour. I don't know what one of your addictions may be, but word that TikTok could be in trouble.
And for what reason?
They have failed to come up with an agreement with Universal Music Group. So they're about to have to remove 4 million songs off of their platform.
People want to get paid, man.
Yes, they do. Well, I mean, that's a big thing on TikTok is you dance to, popular songs.
Everything's got music to it.
Not everything, but a lot of the dance stuff does. So, yeah, that would remove a ton of videos, which tells me they'll probably strike a deal pretty quick.
And everybody says TikTok is all young and everything. Yesterday, congressional testimony from the guy from TikTok in China, I think.
Mm-hmm. Did they have a translator?
The average user is 30 plus in age, so sort of fits into your category.
Well, I think, and Lunsford could probably tell you this, I think us old folk take over everything that gets popular with the kids, and then the kids have to come up with something new. I think that's what happens every single time, is they got something like Instagram. I think, for a minute the kids were there, and then old people like you and people like that started posting pictures on it, and the kids went to TikTok and Snapchat and all that. They'll come up with something new.
Yeah. All right. So Brownie's what?
Keep going.
Brownie's addiction and our addictions is part of 4 Downs coming up a little bit later on in the show. This being brought to you by our friends at Legacy, LegacyCreditUnion.com. APR is the annual percentage rate. You know that if you've got a credit card. Your credit card APR right now is a good rate, 8.90% if you use our friends at Legacy. But what about those high APR, annual percentage rate credit cards, where you've got this debt on there now, and that interest is just clicking over, and you're having to make minimum payments just to try to keep your head above water? How about a balance transfer over to Legacy right now, where for 6 months, that interest rate is only 2.99% annual percentage rate right there for all balance transfers. No balance transfer fees, no annual fee. You can get details from the credit union. Terms and conditions do apply at LegacyCreditUnion.com, LegacyCreditUnion.com. They got a wonderful engaged checking savings account. I've used them before for car loans and truck loans. It's just a wonderful place to do business. Check it out. 9 locations in Birmingham or online at LegacyCreditUnion.com. Let's start Forrester, by putting the graphic up. Taylor built a graphic off of some information. This is a fascinating read about Alabama's current roster by Kennington Smith III of The Athletic. Now, it's a paid site, so go read the entire article from Kennington here. It is really good. But here's one of the takeaways, because this is Alabama's roster breakdown by classes. Last year's roster, 14 seniors, 14 juniors, 22 sophomores, 37 freshmen. And that was considered to be a young Alabama roster, relatively speaking. Of the people that are still left in Tuscaloosa, Kennington Smith III breaks it down like this: 8 seniors, 18 juniors, 11 sophomores, and 44 freshmen there. That's a young group. 81's the total, by the way.
44 freshmen and 37 everything else. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, you wonder if by those numbers this is the youngest Power 4 team in college football.
Probably the youngest one that will be ranked in the top 10 in the preseason, right?
I would say.
Yeah, I mean, the first-year coach, that kind of youth, the expectation's still going to be college football playoff or bust.
Yeah,
no, there's no doubt.
Now, keep in mind, 81 is the number right now, which instantly, just without even having to move any parts of the deck chairs around on the ship, that's 4 available scholarships. That's 4 available scholarships that you've got left for the spring portal coming up. So you can go pick and choose 1, 2, 3, 4 players if you want to in the portal coming up and not even have to change anything on your roster. So Alabama roster-wise, young, but still, if you look at those freshmen, the last 2 recruiting classes, still a lot of talent on that roster in Tuscaloosa. So let's hear from Kalen DeBoer, who finally said yesterday something I think we've all believed from day one, and I think one reason why so many people liked him. Yes, he respects following Nick Saban. He's going to lean on Nick Saban if Nick Saban wants to offer advice, but eventually you want and you expect Kalen DeBoer to do what? To do it his way. Here's Kalen DeBoer.
I think that you still uphold the standards that are in place, and the expectations are certainly aligned with what I want to do and what's happened here in this program for a long time now under Coach Saban. But I think everyone understands that, there's only one Coach Saban, and there's different ways of doing it to be successful. We will, want to uphold those traditions and all those things that have made this place special. But, everyone will have their own fingerprints on it when it comes to what we do offensively, defensively, and obviously myself as the head coach.
Yeah, and that's one thing about when you change the coaching staff like they have, Lance. This is going to look different. It's going to feel different. And if you hire Kalen DeBoer, that's 100% what you want to happen, right?
Yeah, look, and again, I don't think the job it doesn't feel too big for him right now. And this is a guy that has won absolutely everywhere. I did hear Rick Neuheisel this morning talking about, and Rick is in Mobile right now, and he said Kalen DeBoer, when he showed up yesterday, he said, they know each other. And he said he could just tell with kind of a wave that, damn, this job is big. And again, being in Mobile, a little bit different when you probably look around and you see all of these general managers and head coaches and all of this NFL influence. And then when Kalen DeBoer, a guy that nobody could pick out of a lineup a year ago, walks in all of the media, because it is state media typically, is running over to DeBoer and leaving all these NFL guys.
Yeah, but there's some national college folks and such in there as well. But to your point, just show us the frozen picture up there on the screen, Forrester. Last time you think Kalen DeBoer, before he made it to the college football playoffs, did an interview with, I would project 15, 16 microphones around him right there on just a random Wednesday?
Never. I think, going back to media days for the Pac-12 in L.A., it would probably remind you of what we used to see with former Vanderbilt head coach
Derek Mason?
Derek Mason walking around in his Vandy sweats, just kind of like looking for somebody to talk to.
Hoping somebody would ask, Coach, could you sit down and do a hit with us?
I bet that was DeBoer in whatever media hotel in L.A.
Okay, now another thing that people bring up, Brown, is, okay, he's been good in the Pac-12, but can he be good in the SEC? Here is Kalen DeBoer, and then I want you to talk a little bit about that. Here's DeBoer on the differences between where he was and where he is now.
This level of football here in the SEC has been at a high championship level for a long time. And I think every part of the country has their own style. Physicality is what wins championships. And, I think that's what that's what a lot of what we do is going to be based on. But I think football, also football, no matter where you go, and our stuff will also translate to wherever we've been. And I've been in the Midwest and at other places in the country, and just making the jaunt from the West Coast to the Southeast. I think all the things we do will translate over.
Do you still think, Brownie, that it's still regionalized like that the Pac-12 plays a certain style, the Big Ten plays a certain style, the SEC plays a certain style, or is it more blended together now, more of a swirl?
I think college football has become more of a copycat league, where when something starts working for one or two or three schools, almost everybody copies it. Now, there have been some holdouts, like Michigan has played a little bit of a different style, Georgia to a certain extent.
Yeah.
The biggest difference to me,
your
Jim,
point being Michigan and Georgia look more alike rather than Georgia and other SEC teams. Michigan and Georgia are alike parts.
But the biggest difference to me, and this is what Kalen DeBoer will have to continue, is you talk to anybody in football, they're like, the biggest difference between the SEC and what you get elsewhere is the safeties are the size of linebackers, but they got the speed of safeties. The linebackers are the size of defensive linemen, but they got the speed of linebackers. And the defensive linemen, they're just a whole nother class.
Yeah.
We don't have a comparison.
Well, you
them.
think about where we were in Indianapolis, just a little over 2 years ago. We had SEC on SEC in Alabama and Georgia. And since then, you have had SEC versus Big 12. And then you've had a non-SEC national championship with the Pac-12 versus the Big Ten.
Yeah.
So you've had variety in there.
And the reason it is what I was saying is it's just natural. I mean, that's the type of player you get in the South as a high school player. And it's naturally going to be easier to recruit him to a Southeastern Conference school than it is for Oregon to come get the guy. Now, Oregon's going to come get some, but Alabama and LSU and Auburn and Georgia, they're going to end up with most of those players. And that's just the way we grow them here in the South, bigger and faster. I mean, all you got to do is look at the rankings. I don't care who you pick. You can go on 3, you can go 24/7, you can go Luganville, rivals, you can pick any of them. And just start looking at where all these players are. They all rank them the same.
Yeah.
They're all in the South. You got some California, you got some Texas, yeah. But the great players are coming out of the South.
Kalen DeBoer talks about managing that roster again with our friends at ABC 3340 yesterday in Mobile. It was a whirlwind for a second where, as I phrased it last week and the week before that, exports more than imports. But DeBoer talked about that and how now things are settling into his first roster in Tuscaloosa.
What's the roster management been like in terms of guys on the roster and recruiting and future recruiting classes?
I think just with our own roster management, it's really, I think we've done a pretty good job. I know initially when the uncertainty was there and Coach Saban retiring, we lost some guys, and there were some guys that were gone even before that, but maybe it's just a handful since then. And so, I feel really good about where the kind of the mindset of the team is at, and they're into workouts and wanting to uphold the standard, and can't wait to get I know they can't wait to get what our systems are, the playbooks and all of that. So I think it's just a really good spot.
Hey, the first guy that asked the question, not that guy, but back, I think 2 questions, Gus Frerotte.
I can't remember what Gus Frerotte looked like.
You don't remember the old Redskin quarterback?
I do remember the Redskin quarterback. I think he played for the
Vikings.
But I can't remember what he looked like.
Yeah, I think this is Gus Frerotte meet Stugatz from Dan Le Batard.
That's a random combo. On the roster and what's going on in Tuscaloosa, we talked about it yesterday, LT. There's another portal window coming up at the end of the year after spring practice. Do you think there'll be another pretty sizable exit from this roster then?
Yeah, I mean, I think you've got some of these, Lonergan, Simpson, you've got some of these quarterbacks that are kind of waiting to see what DeBoer's all about. There is no way you can hold that whole quarterback room together. I just don't think so.
Okay, but take away the quarterbacks. What about, I just showed you 44 freshmen.
I mean, the way I would be excited, if you're on that roster, you have, he's coming in with a clean slate. If you think your ability is good enough to be on the field and play.
Yeah, I mentioned that yesterday that, and I'm glad to hear you say that, because to me, if you were one of these 5-star or 4-star guys, if Saban had not retired and the roster had stayed whole, some of you have been 4 or 5 stars. You'd been waiting your turn to get on the field. And now the ability is you could play as a true freshman.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt. There is going to be no bias at all. Kalen DeBoer is going to go in there. Everybody is going to be on the same page. They're going to compete, and the best guys are going to be on the field.
One more quarterback question, though, to your point. There are still a lot of talented quarterbacks there, and Kalen DeBoer brought in a quarterback in Austin Mack, who was with him at Washington, and he gets asked about why he wanted to bring Mack in.
What did you see from Austin Mack that made you want to bring him over here?
Well, I think his skill set and all the tools he brings as a quarterback, the arm talent, but I also just think he's got a really great head on his shoulders. He's young, and for him to do what he did this last year with us, he reclassified and really learned the offense as fast as anyone I've ever seen at that age. And so, he's got to just continue to grow, continue to develop, and I know he's all about those challenges. He sees them as opportunities, and it was exciting for him as well as us to have him come down here.
Reclassified, red shirt obviously last year for him, so he's still a very young guy. He's supposed to be a true freshman this year.
Well, look, he played behind a great quarterback, a guy that was the runner-up in Heisman voting, in Michael Penix Jr. There is a belief if Jalen Milroe, for whatever reason, decided to transfer and test out the portal, that Austin Mack would be your guy next year.
It might be. I mean, obviously the coaching staff would have great comfort with him. I don't see a scenario where he beats out Milroe. But, I mean, obviously if Milroe chose to depart, and there has been zero indication that'll be the case, I do think Mack would probably have the inside track of being the starter, yeah.
Patrick says Milroe in 2024, Mack in 25 and 26, which goes back to why LT said there'd be a couple of other quarterbacks who hit the portal. You just can't keep 4- and 5-star quarterbacks buried on the roster.
DB King, I hope he doesn't feel obligated to play Milroe instead of the best player. I don't think he will. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, it seems like Milroe with, his high moments, and especially the way he was playing in November, it would seem unrealistic to say Milroe's not the guy, but if they come in and just based on system, I mean, if he believes Austin Mack gives him the best opportunity to win, it will be Austin Mack. It will not be Jalen Milroe.
So that's a little Alabama football for you there. We'll hear from Hugh Freeze, who was also down at the Senior Bowl in Mobile yesterday on the other side. Show being brought to you by two of our great sponsors. It's now February, LT. That means our friends at Woodhouse is ready to bail your backside out if you get in trouble when it comes to Valentine's Day.
Yeah, look, and I hate to say it like this, but guys, you don't have to put a lot of thought into this because Woodhouse Day Spa, located right there at the Summit Shopping Centers, they have been voted America's best day spa since 2009, so 15 years now. They've got a menu of over 70 options, including massages, body treatment, skincare, waxing, nail services. You don't even have to specify what you want. Just get that amount, whatever you feel comfortable with. You can order it online and let the girlfriend or wife actually pick what she wants done. Birmingham.woodhousespas.com. That's Birmingham.woodhousespas.com. Or just stop in, see Stuart and the great staff, the Woodhouse Day Spas. Tell them the next round sent you. Located right there at the Summit Shopping Center.
Hey, also a reminder, Johnston RV Center, I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur, always online at Johnston RV Center. They've got that on-site RV show going on at the Decatur location at exit 334 right now. So first of all, you can go get great savings. But secondly, if you will RSVP at this website, johnstonrvcenter.com/TNR, they'll add thousands, up to $1,000 in incentives on top of already low show prices. So you're already going to save, and they'll add $1,000 in incentives if you go to johnstonrvcenter.com/TNR. I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur. Always online, johnstonrvcenter.com.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
For more than 40 years, Red Wing Shoes has been helping the hardworking people of Alabama. This is why Red Wing Shoes has created the 3-step comfort solution. Step 1, a certified fit specialist will use a 3D scan to electronically measure your feet and arches. Step 2, the fit specialist helps you get the appropriate footwear for your occupation. Step 3, customize your boot or shoe with a Red Wing orthotic. Whether you have a high arch or flat feet, Red Wing has comfort solutions for you. So experience comfort at its best. Visit one of the Red Wing shoe stores located in Pelham or Trussville.
Hey, Lance Taylor from The Next Round to tell you about our friends at Gutter Cap. Gutter Cap's that patented aluminum cover system that fits over most existing gutters to keep out debris and eliminate that gutter cleaning. It's backed with a lifetime warranty, almost 20-year service record right here in Birmingham. Stay off that dangerous ladder forever. 45% off the retail price now if you call guttercapbirmingham.com. Call my good friend Chris Stewart now, 205-823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it. It's Gutter Cap. Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Hey, Ryan Brown here from The Next Round. Do you want to help pay for my kids' college and look great while you're doing it? You need to go to The Next Round store. Everything from hats to short sleeve and long sleeve t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, zip-up hoodies, and much more. And we're adding new things all the time. Why would you not want to see my kids get a great college education and look great out in the public while you're doing it? Get the gear we wear all the time on the show, and there's only one place to get it. NextRound.store. That's NextRound.store. Legacy Credit Union has the ultimate game changer for your finances. With Engaged Checking, you can earn 3% APY on balances up to $15,000. You heard correctly, 3% APY. But it's not just about scoring with high yields. With Engaged Checking, you can get paid up to 2 days early. That means your paycheck, Social Security, tax refund, you name it, you get it early. So stop sitting on the sidelines and get in the game with Engaged Checking. Sign up today at LegacyCreditUnion.com or visit any 9 Greater Birmingham area branches. APY is annual percentage yield. Terms and conditions may apply. See Credit Union for details. Federally insured by the NCUA.
It's the O'Reilly Auto Parts World of Wheels, February 2nd through 4th at the BJCC. See classic cars and hot rods, custom trucks and motorcycles. Friday, meet WWE legend Mick Foley. Saturday, meet Dave Kindig from Kindig Designs. And Sunday, meet Jerry Mathers, the Bee from Leave It to Beaver. Plus, feature cars like the Batmobile and General Lee. Kids, meet your favorite costume characters and race Hot Wheels on the free Hot Wheels drag track. Don't miss the Super Show with one-of-a-kind vehicles from across the country. Get your discount tickets today at O'Reilly Auto Parts stores. Get details at worldofwheels.net.
Our Dr. B breaking news comes from the NFL. Adam Schefter reporting. Dan Quinn, who many thought were going to get the Seahawks head coaching job, is instead getting the Commanders head coaching job, leaving the Cowboys as defensive coordinator to become the head coach now of the Washington Commanders. That is breaking there from Adam Schefter, who's first to report that. So that's the new head coach there in Washington. That update brought to you by Dr. B.
Yeah, Dr. B, best in the business. My hair started to thin out. I asked around. Dr. Beckenstein is the name everyone mentioned. Went to see him. Now, almost 2 years later, my hair is more than doubled in thickness. I do that non-invasive treatment on the couch, 30 minutes each time, 3 times a week. That is it. T3hair.net for more information. For more than 20 years, women and men have turned to Dr. Beckenstein for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. He will use that experience, his advanced training, and genetic testing to help his patients fully understand the procedures they are considering. Call Dr. B today. Tell him the Next Round sent you, 205-319-0316 or T3hair.net. Which one of these new 8 coaches will win a postseason game first?
Boom, 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 boom. Okay, Seattle, Washington. Who else?
Seattle, Washington, the Chargers, New England. We have also got the Raiders with Antonio Pierce.
So you got Dan Quinn, Commanders, Mike McDonald, Seahawks, Raheem Morris, Falcons,
Dave Canales with the Carolina Panthers.
Canales with the Panthers, Harbaugh with the Chargers, Brian Callahan with the Titans, Antonio Pierce with the Raiders, and Gerard Mayo with the Patriots.
I would say Chargers and Falcons. I would go Falcons first.
Yeah, it depends on who the Falcons have got a quarterback, but I feel like the Falcons are going to be better next year.
Can't be much worse.
It can't be much worse. And you know what? If you get the right guy, if you get a C.J. Stroud, who knows?
Yeah, but again,
division too.
Another fleet of new quarterbacks going to come in. So that means they're going to shuffle down would-be gamble starters to either be in starters, like Tampa ended up with Baker Mayfield. Somebody may lose their job. Kirk Cousins could be 1 year in Atlanta with that roster. Could be good enough for them to win 11 games, get into the playoffs, host a game, and win a game. Chargers are already built. It seems like they're getting they got the quarterback, but everything else is getting older around. I really think if I had to bet, I would say Falcons 1, Chargers 2.
Yeah, division helps Falcons. It's not the worst pick you got there. I think I'm going to go Jim Harbaugh. I think I'm buying into him.
Yeah, way to go, Juan. You made it sound like that wasn't my worst pick ever, but I always make worst picks is what it sounds like. Like it's not your worst pick.
Well, it's not your worst pick.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you've
I
followed
think your
the history of the show.
favorite would be the Chargers to win a playoff game first.
Yeah, but you would agree that the
Falcons get quarterback right. I think that
all the parts around Atlanta seems to be younger than all the parts around quarterback
I would agree with that.
in L.A. All right, Auburn also down yesterday. Hugh Freeze in Mobile. We just gave you a lot of Caleb DeBoer in the last second. LT wasn't here yesterday. I'm going to let him tell us his thoughts on DJ Durkin being the defensive coordinator after Hugh explains what DJ Durkin brings to his coaching staff.
Can you talk a little bit about your DC hire?
Yeah, I'm excited. It was John Cohen has been so supportive, but I said, John, I'm going to take my time now. I know I've got to get this right, and there was so much interest in it, and from people I really like, and I loved his passion and his drive. I think our practices will look quite different with him because I've watched some of his practice tape, and he's pretty into it and energetic, and I love that about him. I've often felt like defensive guys in today's time should maybe coach defense verbiage-wise more like us offensive guys, and he was one of the first ones that I had the entire staff in their offense and defense, and everybody's like, oh my, his verbiage is the most simple, but it's multiple, but it's so easy to understand exactly what's going on once you get the base, and that probably was that.
So you tell me what you think of DJ Durkin. Because Brown doesn't think doesn't really buy into DJ Durkin. I like the hire.
Yeah, I kind of like the hire too. The familiarity with the SEC, his fourth stop. This is a guy that has a little bit of head coaching experience. I know how that ended. Not good there. But when you look at Texas A&M, kind of a forgotten season, because when you get your coach fired in midseason, it's never a good year. But they were number 3 in the SEC in total defense, only behind Georgia and Alabama. They were 19th nationally in total defense, and they led the SEC in both run defense and sacks. So if you can get that with what Hugh Freeze is building offensively, I don't know what more you could ask for. I don't know what would have been a better hire based on circumstances.
I kept circling back to how many times Nick Saban wanted to hire him.
Yeah.
I think 2 on record and 1 rumored to be this time if he hadn't retired.
Yep. I mean, Nick Saban has always respected him, and a lot of people do. My only point is the numbers don't support that. I mean, it's like what we said yesterday. At some point, you are what your record says you are. Is DJ Durkin what the numbers say he is? Or is he what these coaches seem to think he is? And a lot of those coaches have hired him, and the numbers have not improved. I mean, I think he was okay at Texas A&M.
Derek Nix is another guy added to this coaching staff. So Hugh gets asked yesterday about play calling, and I think we all agree that Hugh should be calling plays. Here's what Hugh says about play calling at Auburn.
Then on the offensive side, you bring in a guy that you know really well, and Derek Nix.
Well, it's a comfort level to have D Nix and Kent in that room, knowing that the verbiage and terminology and everything will be things that I understand clearly and can add value to when I need to.
How much more, I guess, control do you see? I mean, I guess what's your outlook in terms of the offense this year? Play calling.
Well, I think it's too early to you constantly have great confidence in D Nix and in that room, but just knowing that it's in the verbiage that I completely understand, where I can suggest things or adjustments. I know I will know how to help more, and I have nobody to blame but myself. It's not that. I'm gonna be more comfortable for sure.
But he does not go all the way to say he's going to call plays, though.
Well, he has, though. That's
I don't know why you just don't own it 100%.
Yeah. I think that's what every Auburn fan wants, don't you?
Other than maybe a quarterback in the portal, yes.
Well, no.
I think that would probably be your stacking order: quarterback, and then him calling plays.
What I meant was, if Auburn fans are given the choice of him calling or not calling, they want him calling plays. That would be the popular choice to make right now.
But, of course, he was in front of microphones, so people asked him, hey, man, what about a quarterback in the portal?
That's a good question.
Here's Hugh Freeze.
At the end of the season, the quarterback battle was going to be wide open for you. How much did you guys poke around in the portal at that position, and do you expect to do that after the spring?
Yeah, I did, and I know the Twitter world had me taking everybody. I guess that's the hot thing to do now is just if a quarterback went in the portal, I started immediately getting messages. This is the one. this is the one. And I really like our room, and I wanted to try to build with high school kids like Hank and Walker, and us try to develop those guys along with obviously the experience Peyton brings, and I kind of want to see that through.
So he's sticking to building out of the high school level.
Has he ever done that before, though? He got Bo Wallace, JUCO. I think Chad Kelly was JUCO. Malik Willis was from Auburn. I don't know if he's ever built from a high school quarterback.
What it tells me is the guy has.
And by the way, Peyton Thorne is not.
The guy that if he is going to go into the portal, the guy he wants in the portal hasn't entered the portal yet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I think that's safe to say. If he's got his eye on one.
Yeah. Or a type of guy hasn't entered the portal yet.
Yeah, I go back to Cam Ward and his skill set. It just seems like it would have fit perfectly with you. And maybe they were just, maybe they weren't interested, but maybe they were just not going to be able to outbid Miami.
Okay, one last thing from Hugh Freeze. And I said this a couple of times, and I know there were some other circumstances that people believe the reason why some big-name former Auburn players are no longer on the portal. I read the stories. I understand what everybody's talking about here.
On the staff, not on the portal.
On the staff, I mean. I'm sorry. The change on the coaching staff, the former Auburn players who aren't on the staff anymore. I understand there's a lot of buzz about other things that went on. I understand all that. But the bottom line is second-year coaching staffs always look different than first-year coaching staffs, and Hugh Freeze talked about that yesterday.
I don't know that I've ever taken over a program where in year one I felt like I got everything right on the hires. I think it's very difficult. I was talking to Nick this morning about that, and it's funny, Nick calls me a lot now. I think, and he rubs in that he's playing golf every single day. It's just you're in such a hurry, and I think it always has taken me a little time to just get the building exactly like I wanted, and we are excited about the comfort level. And I tell you, Will Redmond, I think, is a star, and he blew me away in his interview, and he's already adding great value to being in there. And we still have a few more hires to make, and I assure you they'll probably be people I'm comfortable with.
Is Nick Saban one of those calls you think everybody takes?
Yep. See that?
Like, do you guys have? And we all have. Like, we'll see somebody calling. Hey, I'll call them back. I'll shoot them a text. I'm busy right now. Whatever. But they're only. I think my daughter and my son are the only ones that I will answer all the time.
I believe that. I'm about the same way.
But would Nick Saban be one of those calls if you're in the business? You got to answer.
If I'm a football coach, in a heartbeat.
It is weird though that you didn't hear Kalen DeBoer say. Nick calls me more now and rubs in, but you heard Hugh say that. Yeah. And not saying I don't trust that Nick is calling Hugh, but I do think that if Nick called me one time, I think I would say, Nick's calling me a lot more now that he's retired.
Yeah, that's probably
true. Once might be the most.
Yeah,
it's probably being embellished a little bit. But at the same time, Nick's probably not calling Kalen. He would rather Kalen call him.
Yeah.
Because probably doesn't want to step on toes.
Out of the way.
Don't want to meddle.
I thought the interesting thing was in there when he was talking about being in a hurry to hire your staff, which if you wanted to read between the lines, made it sound like that's why he kept Carnell Williams and Zach Etheridge and maybe Trevon Reed as well.
Right.
Those three Auburn guys that, I'm kind of in a hurry and I got to do it. And those guys, those are easy hires. I just know if he had not retained Carnell Williams, was he told as a condition of hiring you got to keep Carnell Williams? I don't know if he was told that or not.
I would bet yes, though.
Yeah,
I think he might have been strongly encouraged, though, and he's smart enough to know it would have been an absolute PR disaster to start out that way.
I think strongly encouraged, and I think you've got to have at least one of those guys. You heard Nate Oates talking about Antoine Petway and how important he was once he came into that.
Now, again, I don't believe that that Carnell Williams was just let go because it wasn't working out. I do think, there are some other things at play there, but it was going to be a PR disaster to keep him. Or not keep him, excuse me.
The entire training and strength conditioning staff is kept in Tuscaloosa. Other than that, it's just Roach and Gillespie. Mm-hmm. Everyone else is new. Would it surprise you next year if Roach and Gillespie are somewhere else?
Maybe a little bit more. I mean, I view that as that's a little bit of a different situation there. Like, I don't think there was pressure on DeBoer to keep anybody.
No, I don't either.
The only one I think if it had played out this way, that fans would have wanted DeBoer to strongly keep would have been if Travaris Robinson had stayed.
Right.
Like if he were still on the staff the day Saban retired and he stuck around and DeBoer got the job and T-Rob was still there, I think that would have been a very popular keep for him.
Well, and keeping him away from Georgia. And then there is the belief that Caleb Downs would have stayed. I've heard that is not true, that there was nothing that was keeping Caleb.
But I don't think there was one, but I think with Hugh Freeze, the way all that ended and with Carnell being the interim coach and being an Auburn legend, there was no way Freeze was going to be able not to keep him. I mean, that was going to be a PR disaster from day one.
So that's a tradition down at the Senior Bowl to see the Alabama and Auburn head coach, sometimes on different days. In this situation, on both days, we appreciate our friends at ABC 3340 sharing with us that content so we can talk a little Alabama and Auburn football the last two segments. When we come back, Rockstar has the 4 downs today. Show is being brought to you by a couple of great folks, including our friends at Gutter Cap LT.
205-823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it. It's a dirty, dangerous job. Chris Stewart will come out, give you an absolutely free estimate. You will never have to clean the gutters again. They'll put that patented aluminum cover system over most existing gutters that will keep all the debris out. Cap it, don't snap it. 205-823-2212 or guttercapbirmingham.com.
And by our friends at Precision Sports. Let's say you didn't get gutter cap and you were cleaning out the gutter and you tweak that back a little bit, or maybe you're playing pickleball, you twist a knee or an ankle, or you're playing some pickup basketball and your shoulder is not feeling the same. Precision Sports can help you with all of that right now. Remember, here's the phone number for Precision Sports Medicine and Orthopedic. It's 205-512-3885, 512-3885. And the website's precisionsportsortho.com/2024. precisionsportsortho.com/2024. They can help you get your life back on track. Orthopedic care better together. Find your provider today near you. 205-512-3885 or precisionsportsortho.com/2024.
The NFL Network's Daniel Jeremiah and Ryan Brown. DJ Football Weekly at Disrupt the Media on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
There are so many things I love about walk-ons. Authentic, mouth-watering Louisiana cuisine, prepared fresh, daily from scratch. A great beer selection and TVs everywhere to watch the big game every day of the week. And of course, they've got 2 great locations on Highway 280 and 119 and at Hoover near the Hoover Met. Walk-ons is also a great place for happy hour, 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with $5 moonshine swirls, $5 house pours, and half-price appetizers. And it's an easy take-home experience for the family as well. Highway 280 and Hoover with walk-ons.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about our friends at Gutter Cap. Gutter Cap's that patented aluminum cover system that fits over most existing gutters to keep out debris and eliminate that gutter cleaning. It's backed with a lifetime warranty, almost 20-year service record right here in Birmingham. Stay off that dangerous ladder forever. 45% off the retail price now if you call guttercapbirmingham.com. Call my good friend Chris Stewart now, 205-823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it. It's Gutter Cap.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast. The Mystery Fifth Hour, our not for all ages podcasts like Bama and Bourbon, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. all at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
The wait is over. Tonali has arrived. Beautifully distinctive Italian styling and performance. Come test drive the all-new 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonali plug-in hybrid at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. The all-new Tonali offers best-in-class horsepower and torque, fastest 0 to 60 times in its class, plus best-in-class range with full electric charge. And best of all, qualified Tonali leasees are eligible for up to $7,500 EV tax credit factored into your lease. Hurry down to Alfa Romeo of Birmingham and experience the all-new Tonali.
Rockstar's Four Downs in just a second. The show being brought to you as well by our friends at Harbin's Outdoors, LT. They helped change your backyard.
They did. Again, Scotty was showing the video of Bullet and Chili running around just a couple of minutes ago. But Harbin's Outdoors, award-winning landscape hardscaping. They do the ceramic pools. Make sure you make that call today to Jeremy and all the fine folks there. You see what they did for my backyard. They can do the same for you guys. 205-300-0718. One-stop shop for your pool construction needs. They do it all, from the install to the lighting, final hardscapes around the pool, everything in between. Beautiful work. You can find them on Instagram at Harbins_outdoors. See it for yourself, or call or text Jeremy directly, 205-300-0718.
Okay, Rockstar's Four Downs in just a second. Walmart, by the way, Rockstar, 4.6, so 4,600 stores right now in the United States. They're about to add 150 more new stores, new Walmarts.
Well, super centers. So it'll be super centers.
I don't know if they're super centers or not.
Okay, because I only do the super center.
On the reg, how many Walmarts do you guys drive past? I got one in my area that I drive past on the reg.
Just one.
Just one?
Mm-hmm. But what's crazy, I think we are more Target shoppers. I can't tell you the last time I have physically been in a Walmart.
I would agree. I think same way. I think we're more Target for my wife. I don't think I go into either one.
We're closer to a Target.
But 150 more stores, so roughly that's 3 per state if you're dividing those equally among states.
That's good. We need it.
Yeah. A lot of our, over the years, radio and now in this platform, so many great delivery drivers, truck drivers have listened to the show across the country. So we're thinking about you guys who drive for UPS and work at UPS. 12,000 jobs are being cut here in the near future because shipping is down through UPS. So we're thinking about you guys. If you're driving the big brown truck out there, the one that Brown used to think he could jump off the 3rd floor of our radio studio and land comfortable on.
You saw the video I sent out. That's exactly what would happen.
We were higher. I think and that truck was lower. The FedEx truck was lower. I could easily do
that.
It.
Guy was more athletic, though.
Yeah. I would tell you, I've always said, I don't know about the UPS truck, which always looks sturdier on the top to me than the FedEx truck. I still say you would have jumped at your weight at that height. You would have gone through the roof of the truck.
I would have at least landed on the roof, though. You'll give me that. Yeah, at that point.
I think his knees,
both arteries.
No, I think knees both would have buckled, and he would have gone forward over into the parking lot.
Right, because you go back to Chili and Bullet. You talked about the amazing athletes that they are, the ability to dead run, jump, and stick the landing. On the ottoman there, and not go forward. You wouldn't have been able to do that.
Yeah, stronger tendons and ligaments. I mean, they're running, cutting all the time. Yeah. I mean, you do that one-off and you're cold. I can't even imagine it. And it's a new follow for me on Twitter. I stumbled across it. It's called F Around and Find Out.
Yeah.
And it's people doing dumb stuff. And when you F around and you think you can do it, then you find out.
Quickly find out.
And boy, they're all bad finishes.
Yeah. On Thursdays, we F around with Rockstar as Slice brings us our 4 downs. Give us a little bit about Slice, LT. And Rockstar's got 4 interesting questions for us today.
Fantastic local pizza created by the late Jeff Bajaya. His brothers continue to celebrate his legacy. Jason and Chris, get in, see them. 4 locations, soon to be a 5th location in Homewood. Local pizza, local ingredients. For more information, SliceBirmingham.com.
First down.
What car would you never buy again?
I've got to go first here because I think LT and I are going to duplicate this.
No, I want one.
Oh, you want one now?
I would love to have a secondary Suzuki Samurai. You can't really find them as far as ones that have been kept in really good condition.
Yeah.
Because most people used them for secondary cars, hunting or whatever they were doing with them, and so they're all beat up. But if I could find a really good valued Suzuki Samurai, I'd love to have it as a second car.
Suzuki Samurai for me, it's a no-go. But like you said, it was my primary, and I wore it out quick.
Yeah, I mean, look, you couldn't do anything to it. Like, I would leave my top off. It had the plugs underneath, so rain would just run through it. You could go 20,000 miles without a oil change.
Are some of those prices like $349, Rockstar?
Lance, I think you can get one pretty cheap.
No, but like that one's in mint condition. Like if I could pull one of those off, I'd love to have one.
Yeah, would you go top off the way that one is?
Yeah, I'd probably keep it in the garage. Just keep the top off, and on nice days, drive it around.
Drive it, let the wind blow through that new hair from Dr. B.
Because my old man was in the car business forever. He worked at dealerships and he wholesaled cars. My youngest brother does it now. So I've had more cars than you can imagine. Like literally since I was 16, I've probably had 25, 30 different cars. And I can't specifically say there is one car that I would never buy again. I never had that bad of an experience.
Go back to the engine, Rockstar. I mean, look at this. Does that not scream horsepower?
Well, these were created for the Japanese forestry guys.
Yeah, and see, that's just it. That was the wrong vehicle for me at the wrong time in my life. When I lived in Lexington is when I had that. And I was driving to Birmingham 6 hours every other weekend, and sometimes to the coast, 10-hour trips. That thing is not built for 6 and 10 hours.
Yeah,
journeys.
but tell me you had to beat the poon off with a stick with a Suzuki.
Get the pea shrapnel.
Yeah.
Also, little known thing that don't actually, you're supposed to drive with this with the emergency brake on.
Yeah. No, it wasn't that. He had it in four-wheel drive.
Four-wheel drive. You had to get out and turn a knob on each front wheel to lock in four-wheel drive. And I did not test drive mine when I bought it, and drove it all the way from Lexington to Gulf Shores, Alabama in four-wheel drive.
I know it was a viewed as really cheap, but I'm telling you, man, those things were so reliable, and you could go mudding in them. It's just unique. When's the last time you saw one of those on the road?
It's been a while, yeah.
No. What about you, Brownie? What car would you never buy again?
I don't want to put anybody on blast. There is one I have owned twice, and I will not do it again. But I started thinking about it when Rockstar sent us this question. Like, a lot of people are brand loyal, and I had to dig through my mind to think of all the brands of cars that just I have driven. It's not like my wife or my daughter. And, I mean, it is. I've had a Chevy. I've had a Ford. I've had a Jeep. I've had a Toyota. I've had I drive a Hyundai. I've had a Land Rover. I've had a Honda. I've had a Nissan. Like, I mean, I've hit a lot of the brands, man.
I probably have checked all those. You're always a 4Runner guy in my head.
I've had two of those.
You've had two of those.
Yeah.
So
that's not the brand I would say I wouldn't buy again. No, 4Runner's a very good vehicle.
No, am I a Ram truck guy in your head?
You've become a Stelvio guy in my head, but no. What was the Punk Master P? What was it called?
Funk Master Flex.
Punk Master P.
I was talking to Maddie about this yesterday. Like, I
remember Greg giving that one up.
Oh yeah.
I do wish Maddie was in your life when you had that vehicle.
Well, no. So if I still had my Sedan DeVille. So that was paid off. The Funkmaster Flex was paid off. These are just secondary cars that I could have.
Yeah.
And if we ever go off the grid, I wouldn't have to worry about the smart car driving to one location like in Leave This World Behind.
Tyler says, did Jim just combine Funkmaster Flex and Master P?
I did.
Funkmaster P?
It's a hard brain. What about you, Rockstar?
Mine rhymes with a cicada. I had one, and leaving work one day, the steering wheel locked up, and it would not go over 20 miles an hour. This is on Valley, and smoke just started going out of my exhaust. I barely made it home, got it towed to the dealership. They fixed it, had a comma in there. 3 days later, happened again 4 days later.
It wasn't under warranty?
The warranty had just run out.
Yeah, I was about to say it was probably...
And I owned it. I had made my final payment on it. And so...
I think I
got it to my apartment, and then it wouldn't even start. Like I was like, I'm gonna let it sit for a day or so, and I'll try to start it the next day. Nothing. And then they looked at its total. They offered me $500 for it, and then I started dating Nancy, and she drove one too. I go, that thing is gonna die on you. She's like, no, it's not. And then one day she was in her apartment. She's like, my car won't start. And I go, boom, you're gonna get $500. And she did. She got off for $500.
So the Acadia sucks.
Yes, it was awful. I would never buy another one again.
Second down.
What are you currently addicted to?
Mine is going to be Awful Strange. I've got two of them, really. One of them was fairly new in my life. The first one is I've started using a water pick sometime back instead of flossing. Game changer, boys. I've always hated flossing. I hate it the water pick. Your mouth just feels so good when you're done with it. Use it every single day. And then I have chronically dry skin, and it's really, really bad this time of year when there's no humidity in the South and the air is really, really dry. What are you laughing at?
Because I heard you tell this story in the lobby yesterday, 2 days ago, whenever it was, and I didn't jump in. But you made it sound like it was the newest invention of all time. Like it's like
no, it's new to me though. Jim.
Yeah,
I have chronically dry skin, and I have to put lotion on it. The one place it's hard to get lotion's on your back, right? So my back was constantly itching. Like I could just stop and scratch it at any point in the winter. And Jennifer came home one day with an exfoliating brush that I use in the shower now, like I'm, some hillbilly in a tub.
Yeah.
And it is a game changer. My back never itches. Never. Like it's like the most awesome thing I've had. It's like a $3.99 exfoliating brush.
I know, yeah. Jane had one. We had one in the house.
No, it's an old person thing.
Yeah.
Old person, female thing. I don't really care because my back does not itch at all.
We installed a little bar on the shower. That you just hoist yourself and get right out of the tub.
Oh, but when you've got dry skin, man, you'll do anything.
You guys got to experience the couch this past weekend.
It is very nice.
I am addicted to that couch. I'm excited. I'm doing a.
You're addicted to your couch.
Yes. I'm doing a Thanksgiving light tonight, and so kind of a take on Thanksgiving, and then
you're doing a Thanksgiving light tonight.
Yeah,
like a Thanksgiving meal.
Yeah. But light. Yeah.
All right.
I'll go to the New York butcher shop. I'll pick up some meat, some sides.
Can I come over? I love Thanksgiving.
Yeah. If you want to.
Don't invite Jim. He's making fun of you. But I love Thanksgiving.
I am going to be on that couch. I mean, it's one of the reasons I had to make the decision. Am I going to see Lakers Hawks, or do I want to stay on my couch again tonight? And I've gotten in such a rut of just wanting to be on the couch.
Yeah.
But I am addicted to that couch. And because it's going to be a dry February, probably the peanut butter filled pretzels and Sprite.
By the way,
those will be my go-tos.
Listen, I don't make myself at home very often at people's houses, especially Lance's. But I was there for the championship game this past weekend, and I told you guys I had the shake, so I woofed down the chili cheese dog, the corn dog, and the tots, and I knew he always keeps some of those peanut butter filled pretzels somewhere.
How good are they?
And I love them. I opened them up, and I was like, thank God. Now, I had to get on my tippy toes because he had them on the top shelf.
His tippy toe.
But I was able to pour a handful of those out, and it hit the spot.
Joseph over there, we're about to find out if LT is addicted to alcohol. Joseph's been on my ass all day. I'm willing to go paychecks, Joseph. I can go as long as you want to. I can go the rest of my life for the right amount of money. There is zero things that I'm addicted to in my life. I love alcohol. I do, but I'm not addicted to it.
I will blame this one on EG on our trip to Pasadena.
Why did she get
but the Nerd Cluster candy did not ever knew those existed until I think I don't even know where we were, an airport, or she brought them from the airport, or the day we walked to the grocery store.
Is it Nerds like all piled up on a piece of like gummy?
That's exactly right.
I mean, they're just little clusters about that big. They are very good.
Yeah, tasty.
Yeah.
So I have since bought 3 bags of those. And
your fruit intake.
I keep them. I keep them laying around the sports room, and you know what? You have to literally put them out of your reach, because if you're addicted to your couch and you're watching basketball,
you can eat the heck out of those.
You just keep eating them one after another.
I do that with runs.
So thank you, EG. I'll have to go clusterless February to get off of these things.
Third down.
If I offered you $20,000 to stay up for 72 straight hours, how would you approach it?
Live streaming would be the first way I would go. It would be part of a live broadcast. I would need a lot of caffeine, but it would involve doing a show. It would take 72 hours of me doing a show. It would take me something to keep my adrenaline going and being awake.
Would you need prep work for it, if I said, could you start tonight? Or would you just like, give me the weekend to sleep and everything, then I'll start Monday?
I keep a lot of my old show notes, so I probably could keep going.
Yeah, I think the way to do it is we go back to the doghouse in Vegas, because there is something about the oxygen pumped in the casino.
It's a great
There's something about the sensory, the noises. Do it during the summer so we could rotate in and out. I think fresh air is very important. I think getting some sun, maybe getting a little swim in, being in that pool. But it would be all caffeine based. Like, I've never done Adderall. There are people that swear by Adderall it will keep you up. Have you guys ever done Adderall?
I have not, but I would have to have something like that. I cannot, Rockstar, stay awake for games I want to watch.
I know that.
So I could never stay awake for that long. 72 hours would be impossible. There would have to be some sort of medicinal something.
It would be a sequencing of a live show. You're right. Maybe then we go to the casino, get some of that oxygen, then maybe outside to the pool where there's a lot of attractive people around the pool. Then maybe we go play a little golf. It would have to be laid out to where we could not stop. We'd have to be going nonstop.
I would think you would have the best chance of making it 72 hours with no sleep. I don't think there's any way I could do it. I'll never forget early on when we started doing mornings. It was like 2 or 3 weeks in, and I showed up, and I was so miserable because I'd only gotten like 4 hours of sleep.
How long do you think you've gone one time without sleep?
Probably 36.
I think I've done 40 before.
Yeah, I think 36, and it killed me. I was completely
14.
out of whack.
Yeah, maybe 24. I might have made it 24. I've pulled an all-nighter several times. But
I mean, G Curbo over there, I took Adderall 14 years. Longest I stayed awake was 38 hours. I just don't know if you can do 72 hours.
Yeah,
I could not.
I did 40. You probably would need to be in combat probably to stay awake 72 hours, right? We'd need to be running for our lives.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fourth down.
What is a song that everyone can sing the chorus, but no one really knows the rest of the lyrics?
Sweet Caroline.
That may be it.
Yeah. Shout Out the Devil, Motley Crue.
It's the end of the world as we know it. Cinematic, Leonard Bernstein.
Yeah, that's a good one. Leonard Bernstein's the one thing I know.
You know, Rocket Man, I think the chorus is a little difficult for some people, right?
Where does the chorus
start? I think it's gonna be a long, long time till touchdown brings me round. I've yet to find I'm not the man you think I am at home.
No.
Brody's right, the Alabama fight song. Yeah, Alabama.
A lot of We Didn't Start the Fire. I'm not even sure Billy Joel knows all those words.
Yeah.
Do y'all know Shout at the Devil, though?
I can't sing
it's just
it.
Shout it out.
Different word.
And that's 4 of them.
That's 4 downs.
All
brought to you by our friends at Slice.
Yes, 4 great locations of Slice. Get in to see the Bajaya brothers, from the Hot Mama to the Bajaya Special, the old school. You're going to love the specialty pizzas. Local pizza, local ingredients. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
All right, back to basketball and everything going on in the NFL and college football when we come back. Trash a little bit later on. And then Dan Orlovsky getting us ready for the Super Bowl. He joins us at 11:45. This is the next round today, being brought to you in part by our friends at Hemp Hill Services. Hemp Hill Services, if it's not running right, draining right, or flowing right, Hemp Hill's the name to call.
Oh, look, I woke up this morning, it's 31 degrees. You got to make sure that HVAC unit ready to keep you toasty and warm at home. Our guys at Hemp Hill Services, they can make sure that that is the case. 205-229-2090. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Hard to stop a train. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
Follow LT on Twitter at @TheLanceTaylor.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late night bites. Only at Twin Peaks.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
You want to look great while supporting your favorite show? You know the place to go is the official Next Round store at nextround.store. Yes, there are .store domains, and we have one. From shirts to hoodies to hats and all kinds of fun stuff, you can rep the Next Round anywhere you go. At the beach, Next Round hats to block out that sun. Up north in the winter, get you a comfy Next Round hoodie. Just need something to put your $20 beer in at a game? Get you a Next Round koozie and throw that thing in your pocket. You never know what stuff Jim's going to make me put in there next. Check it out. It's the Next Round store at nextround.store.
Are you ready for a winning season in your finances? Legacy Credit Union is bringing you a slam dunk deal on their credit cards. Apply for their balance transfer and pay zero balance transfer fees. That's right, there is no balance transfer fees, and they're offering a jaw-dropping 2.99% APR for the first 6 months. Whether you're looking to clear the cord of those holiday expenses or just wanting to streamline your finances, apply online today, legacycreditunion.com. Annual percentage rate, terms and conditions may apply. See credit union for details. Federally insured by the NCUA.
There are so many things I love about walk-ons. Authentic, mouth-watering Louisiana cuisine, prepared fresh, daily from scratch. A great beer selection and TVs everywhere to watch the big game every day of the week. And of course, they've got 2 great locations on Highway 280 and 119 and at Hoover near the Hoover Met. Walk-ons is also a great place for happy hour. 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with $5 moonshine swirls, $5 house pours, and half-price appetizers. And it's an easy take-home experience for the family as well. Highway 280 in Hoover with walk-ons.
The Double Down Media podcast family is live and full of content for all ages. The Mystery Fifth Hour gives the Next Round host a chance to talk about everything but sports. Pour a glass of Bama and bourbon, our weekly college football conversation, while sipping on some of the most interesting pours in the bourbon world. And in our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, LT takes off the gloves for in-depth conversations with stars like Taylor Hicks, presented by Redmont Vodka. Find these podcasts and more by searching The Next Round on Apple, Spotify, and on our website, nextroundlive.com.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Hey, a new hour of the show here, and EG's in here. We got a delivery from Devin.
Oh, EG, what are you doing?
I think
that would have been
amazing.
Classic.
That would have been.
Devin watches and listens to the show from Denham Springs, Louisiana. So hello,
Denham.
That was almost a Yosemite moment.
It really was. And he wrote in.
And he writes.
Dear Jimmy.
Dear Jimmy. He really does.
Those were the best.
On Friday's show, y'all were talking about the king cake debacle at the LSU women's basketball game. Brownie made the comment, quote, "I think it's something that is overrated."
Correct.
End quote.
Did say that.
Talking about king cake.
I'll own it.
I'm from South Alabama, but have lived here in the Baton Rouge area for 16 years now. I think it's possible Brownie just hasn't had the right king cake.
Completely possible.
Please share this with your team, and I hope some will enjoy a taste from the bayou. I love the show and listen every day. Roll Tide, Devin, Wally. Devin, thank you for listening.
Hello, Devin.
No, Devin, look, this is big, and we appreciate that. I will say this. This is the exact, so our buddy C-Stu is from Baton Rouge.
Right.
He brought us this exact king cake, and Bullet and Chili destroyed it before the AFC and NFC championship game. So C-Stu says the exact same thing Devin's saying. He's like, we just haven't sampled the right king cake yet.
All right.
Navarre's famous king cakes?
Yeah, Navarre's famous king cakes.
Yeah. So apparently this is the place to get it from. Now, I will tell you, if you look on the outside of the box, there is a variety of different flavors. We've got the cinnamon one, which I'm not a huge cinnamon bun.
I like cinnamon.
I'm not a cinnamon bun
Okay, so
kind of guy.
you've gone cream cheese, chocolate, strawberry, apple, praline, pecan, blueberry, lemon, raspberry, pineapple, Bavarian.
Yeah.
Or cherry.
I would have gone cream cheese or then praline would have been my second choice.
I think cream cheese, cinnamon are the only ones, yeah.
Yeah, well, we appreciate the
I
thought.
like cinnamon.
All right.
All right, so we're going to try it
Throw me
here?
a small slice out.
Someone might get the baby Jesus.
Well, we all need him.
We all need him.
We all need Jesus.
By the way, I should tell you, Devin, in shipping, I don't know if they threw this around a little bit.
It's like a sandworm from Tremors. It's probably not the way you envisioned it arriving.
Yeah, it did not arrive intact. I'll go ahead and tell you.
Yeah. All right, so we're about to try king cake and see if we can finally get one that I like.
Yeah.
Rockstar and Tyler have appeared as if from nowhere. To
Let's
get
say
their
if you
piece.
get the baby, everybody else got to give you $5.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'd like it from this area.
So anybody gets baby Jesus gets $5.
I want a little icing, that little area right there. Very small, though. I'm trying to lose weight with our friends at Way to Wellness.
Now, that is good.
Yeah. Our show being brought to you by our friends at Champy's, world famous fried chicken, champyschicken.com. Highway 119 in Alabaster. Great way to...
maybe a fork would have helped here.
listen, it doesn't bother me. You can touch it with your hands, man. It's not going to bother me. Just make sure you pull that baby Jesus out. I need the $5. Well, I wanted more than that.
You better eat all of that, Dunaway. All of it.
Champy's chicken. I only want 19. Okay, I get it. I'm a little overweight. But give me the whole slither so I can sample it. Yeah, I assume
it tastes like a cinnamon roll. I mean, I'll give it. This is much better than what I've had in the past. No doubt about that. Much better than what I've had in the past.
I need some icing.
It's not like Jim to complain about what you get over there, EG. Oh, we found forks. Oh, we got forks.
Anybody else need fork?
I'm going to eat with my hands. Like the Mardi Gras table.
Yeah, this is the way they do it at Mardi Gras.
It's not bad. I like it.
No, it's very good. It tastes like a.
I'll try some, sure. Oh my God!
Tastes like a cinnamon roll.
Yeah, it does.
I like it.
That's why I wanted to go cream cheese.
Why? Because you've had a cinnamon roll before.
I've had the cinnamon roll.
Right.
Never happy.
I mean, it is remarkable, isn't it? The guy has sent us.
Devin, do I
all
not?
Jim has done is complain about it.
Devin, what's the cash like in Louisiana?
Yeah, that really
not
is.
bad, but I've had cinnamon before.
Yeah, he complained about the size of his piece.
The show also
Thank you, EG.
The show also being brought to you by our friends at Michelson Laser Vision. Tell us about Michelson LT, and we'll get back into basketball.
My incredible vision, I don't see a baby in my piece, but we'll see.
I mean, she's giving you half the cake.
205-969-8100. That is the number that I called years ago. Ask for Amy. Ask her about pre-inflation pricing. They're going to hook you up. I wore the contacts for years and years and years. Was wasting money each and every year. Finally got the procedure done.
Oh, EG.
Oh, the one that cut it, the one that eyeballed it the whole time.
There we go.
I left it with her to place the baby in there. Of course, you pulled it out.
96. Well, you got a fourth of the cake too.
Yeah, there you go.
205-969-8100. That is the number you need to call. Ask for Amy again. Tell her the next round sent you pre-inflation pricing. They're going to hook you up. 205-969-8100 or michelsonlaservision.com. I can see how people would choke on that.
I can too. That's a tiny baby.
So it came with the baby already in it.
Yeah. They're old school.
That is old school.
Out?
Old school.
Yeah.
Yeah, we probably had to sign a waiver to
So
start
you'd be
this.
run out of Louisiana if you sued them for that.
Yeah. Good job, EG.
Thank you.
Way to go.
It was good.
It is good. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Devin, man.
I'm glad you went cinnamon.
Me too, Devin. Haven't had a good cinnamon roll in a long time. Very good.
I mean, that's what it tastes like. I mean, I don't know how different it would be if it was Bavarian or Bavarian.
It knocks you out with a club.
What is Bavarian?
Bavarian's like, isn't that like Boston cream?
Yeah.
I thought it. I missed the word non to start with.
Right.
I thought it said edible baby figure now inside the cake, which would make more sense, right? If you just made it candy and made it edible.
No, I'm eating a baby.
This is why you see a lot of big people in New Orleans.
Why? Because of
they
king cake?
eat this stuff all the time.
Well, I mean, have you tasted the rest of the food?
You know
It's
what's
very
strange, though?
filling.
It's such a walking town. You would think that you would walk off those calories.
You would, but boy, that is some filling food, man. I mean, it sticks to your ribs, that stuff you eat down there. Sticks to your ribs.
Devin, to quote the great Brian Kelly, you're now officially part of our family.
You part of our family.
Yeah. Prince Law, Hud's Grocery Store in Homewood used to have bomb-ass pastries and such. That's where we used to go after school, and I told you that's where Odie's is now.
Oh, it's in the old Hud's?
Yep.
Down on the
How
corner.
about that?
New
Yeah.
Homewood location. All right. By the way, we did pet peeves on our question.
I did that.
With Little T on our social media platform. Smacking is Brown's
100%.
So let's all give him a little smacking in this segment.
Yeah, let's do that.
Rockstar, give me cut 2. Let's get back into what we saw last night from Alabama and Auburn in basketball. Alabama in a game where was there a point in this game you thought they were going to lose?
Yeah, halftime.
Yeah.
First half.
I mean, I debated not watching it in the second half.
I think when it was 14-2? And like Alabama had 2 points 11 minutes in. I'm like, I don't think they're winning tonight.
I debated at one point not even watching it in the second half. I was going to go back and start season 3 of Loudermilk on Netflix.
I watched that one scene. So hokey.
So hokey? Yeah. It's a good show. About to do season 3. I've watched the first 2 seasons on Netflix. But they rallied. They came back. And you can tell in this interview that Mark Sears ended up with 23 and got the hard hat award. But Grant Nelson, a couple of big threes, sort of put away the victory at the end. Here's Grant Nelson on what happened in the second half with this Alabama comeback.
Well, was there a moment in the second half where it kind of like clicked for y'all, like a moment where you really felt like you were back in the game?
I'd say just coming out a lot better, on the offensive glass, defensive glass, because we were down like, I think it was like 28-5 on the rebounds at half or something. So, I mean, just kind of having a little more fight in us going into the second half. And we knew, like you said, we'd been here before. We knew we could dig ourselves out. It was just we had to hit singles, not try to do it all in one play.
So what's next for Alabama? They have a home game with Mississippi State, who's coming off a hard-fought loss at Ole Miss. So a tough week for State. Now on the road in Tuscaloosa Saturday night. But this Mississippi State team felt like they should have beat Alabama in Starkville.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Mississippi State has been really bad on the road. And obviously it's so difficult to win on the road in the SEC. I fully expect Alabama to win this game. And then I fully expect them to lose in Auburn.
I think the encouraging thing, obviously, the way you played in the second half, but Alabama had 6 points at basically the 10-minute mark. So in 30 minutes of basketball, Alabama scored 79 points. That's like NBA pace right there.
Yeah, they ended up getting close to their average number.
Yeah.
After having 6 at what point?
At the 10-minute mark, Alabama. Yeah. So Alabama hit, Diabate hit a layup at 9:54 to make it 19-8. Yeah. Prior to that, it was 19-6. So when the clock clicked under 10 minutes, so you're a quarter of a way through the game, Alabama had 6 points.
6 points.
Yeah, and they ended up scoring 85. I mean, that is really, really difficult to do.
Just 4 off their average.
Yeah.
Their nation-leading average.
Yeah. So that's, I mean, obviously there are some silver linings to that performance. The way you fought back, the way you didn't pack it in, you get a road win. But, Lance, this offense, it is so explosive, man. This is such an explosive Alabama offense when everything's clicking.
Yeah, I mean, just go back to LSU. The prior game, they scored 100 points plus. So that was, we talked about the 6th time they've done it this year.
So Alabama, Mississippi State Saturday night at Coleman Coliseum. And then there's Auburn, who goes back on the road at Ole Miss. Denver Jones and Janai Broome both had big games. If you're an Auburn fan, the fact that Denver Jones finally started to get his shot to drop is a positive sign because this guy can fill it up. He has a smooth shot. He had 19 last night, hit a trio of early threes.
Yeah, look, that was his Auburn high. And this is a guy that came in from Florida International. He averaged over 20 points per game at Florida International. He just hasn't had to, pick up any of the scoring load because this team is so deep and so balanced right now. But it does show you, I mean, this is a good sign that you've got another guy if you need a pick-me-up, a guy to go out and get you 15 to 20. Denver Jones is the guy that can do that.
Yeah, what jumps out at me is, we talk a lot about Auburn's defense, and, you talk about Alabama's offense and Auburn's defense, and Auburn held Vandy, who's not a good team, right? I mean, I get that Vandy's not a good team, but they held them to 26% shooting from the field. Auburn is not going to lose a game when the opponent shoots 26%. That's going to be a hard game for Auburn to lose.
Yeah, and that's what the guys talked about afterwards. We always focus on offense. This is Janai Broome and Denver Jones who led the team in scoring these two guys. They had big nights last night. Jalen Williams also had 21 to be the leading scorer. But these 3 big offensive guys, but they wanted to talk about what Bruce Pearl believes in after the game, and that's defense.
You picked it up after the half. What did Bruce Pearl say to you guys in the locker room about how to come out offensively?
Honestly, we don't really talk that much about offense. Mostly we talk about defense, what we can do, and one of our main things that we mentioned in the locker room was our rebounding. And I feel like that was the main thing that really picked up our second half.
Coach, I was talking about defensive rebounding, and your whole team to 27% shooting, and your chances of winning is pretty high. So we take part in our defense. Offense gonna come. We got a lot of scores on our team. Whether it's me, Denver, Jay Will, Aiden, Trey, Katie, whatever. Somebody's gonna carry us over, the time to let our offense start flowing. But defense, win championships.
So after last night on Ken Palm, Houston is still the number 1 defense in the country. They have been all year. They probably will be all year. That's just who they are. Tennessee is number 2. That is no surprise.
That's who they are.
That's who they are. Auburn is 3rd nationally in adjusted defense, and that is what they're hanging their hat on. And even, Stephen Pearl, in his appearance with us every Tuesday, said, look, I know we lost the games, but when you go back and you break it down, we held Alabama to their worst offensive performance of the season and Mississippi State to their worst. He said, so, the defense was still there, and that's something that's what this team is hanging their
Well,
hat
and
on.
Janai Broome, one of the main reasons there. Look, you had a 7-minute drought in the first half for Vanderbilt. It is one of the worst offensive teams in all of college basketball. There was a 20-2 run in the second half that really slammed the door. But Janai Broome, 16-11, 5 blocks last night. He's got 54 career double-doubles, which is the 5th most among active D1 players. I think if he continues to play like he's playing right now, Auburn continues to be a top 15 team, he'll end up being like a third-team All-American.
And by the way,
I think he's having that kind of a season.
He's a junior. He still has another year to play if he wants to keep
Yeah, and
playing.
he's kind of a tweener. I think he's probably one of those guys that's around another year.
Okay, so Auburn at Ole Miss this week. Auburn's been different on the road. Ole Miss got a big win over Mississippi State at home. I think they can win the game in Oxford. Do you think they can win the game in Oxford?
Oh, yeah. I mean, Auburn is that balanced. You're having a bad night offensively, defense can pick you up. You're having a bad game on that defensive side. You've got enough capable scorers out there that you can outscore the opponent. I do think it's going to be really difficult. This game's going to be right around the pick, but Auburn's a better team.
I think they're probably tired of hearing about how they can't win on the road, and at some point that galvanizes you, right? And look, they're going to get a road win. I mean, this is not a team that's going to go all season and only win, and they've already won one, I know, at Arkansas. But, I mean, from this point moving forward in this tougher part of the schedule, they're going to find a road win, and probably multiple road wins. And guess what? They may lose a home game, too. Auburn may not go undefeated at home. We sit here and just give teams home games on a week where South Carolina has won at Tennessee and Florida has won at Kentucky.
Yeah, two of the tougher places to play.
That's right, 2 good teams, and so it can happen.
It can happen. Alabama will get that shot at Auburn next week. Alabama leading the way in the SEC. A lot of teams right behind them with 2 and 3 losses in the loss column. That's basketball. Last night, UAB wins at North Texas, and Samford gets a win at home. Both those games close, 82-79 UAB in overtime at North Texas, ending North Texas' 17-game home win streak, and Samford winning at home 81-79 over Wofford. They're now 19-3. Couple of games tonight if you want to play them at Lance's Lock or take a look at the whole slate. Oregon and USC, and number 6 Wisconsin at Nebraska. What's crazy about Oregon at USC, Oregon's in first place in the Pac-12, yet they've lost 3 of their last 4 games. I don't think the Pac-12 is very good.
No, it's not.
I mean, Pac-12 basketball used to be so much fun.
I mean, Arizona's really good.
Yeah.
But you thought UCLA, USC were going to be better.
Yeah. USC, by the way, 8-12 going into this game
and
tonight.
UCLA under Mick Cronin, I just thought he would have that program a little more consistent than what they've been.
Yep, I agree.
I mean, that's surprising to me. I thought that guy was a much better coach.
Couple of basketball games going tonight. Trash is in the next segment coming up. We'll jump into that. And hear what LT has for us. Our friends at Storm Restoration Roofing has a free no-cost roof inspection for you. All you have to do is call Greg from Pell City at this number, 205-542-3531. 542-3531 for that free no-cost roof inspection. You can also look him up on Facebook. It's Greg from Pell City, locally owned for over 20 years. He and his wife own the company. They're A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau. Insurance companies trust him, and that's going to help you. In fact, right now, one of our next-round listeners, Greg, is fighting the insurance companies for a little more from them. They're wanting to pay 80%. He thinks they should pay 100%. So Greg's working for her, much like he'll work for you as well. Call him up, 205-542-3531, 205-542-3531. Free no-cost roof inspection. He'll also replace your roof. He'll repair storm damage, whatever you need, Storm Restoration Roofing.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Fire damage to your home or business is something you never want to consider. Ryan Brown here from The Next Round. But in the horrible event it happens, Dry Tech is here to help. They respond quickly and will reply to you within 20 minutes when you call 205-637-0143. They're working for you, the customer, not the insurance company. They've got 5 crews ready to go 24/7. Don't call the insurance company first. Call Dry Tech. Just remember this website, mydrytech.com. That is mydrytech.com.
Legacy Credit Union has the ultimate game changer for your finances. With Engaged Checking, you can earn 3% APY on balances up to $15,000. You heard correctly, 3% APY. But it's not just about scoring with high yields. With Engaged Checking, you can get paid up to 2 days early. That means your paycheck, Social Security, tax refund, you name it, you get it early. So stop sitting on the sidelines and get in the game with Engaged Checking. Sign up today at LegacyCreditUnion.com or visit any 9 Greater Birmingham area branches. APY is annual percentage yield. Terms and conditions may apply. See credit union for details. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
On the field or in the office, you need a solid team and a strong game plan if you want to beat the competition. Xerox Business Solutions Southeast offers everything from printers to managed IT services, as well as hybrid work hardware solutions through our titanium partnership with Dell. For championship-level office solutions, get Xerox Business Solutions Southeast into your starting lineup. Visit xbssoutheast.com/win. Touchdown!
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com. That's nextroundlive.com.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from the Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
Champy's Chicken brings you this hour of the show. Highway 119 in Alabaster, Sterling, the crew down there. Deep Southern fried chicken, brined overnight, cooked to order, always piping hot. The hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, all the great Southern comfort food, including Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. So good. So good. Go by there and see Sterling. It's Highway 119 in Alabaster, champyschicken.com. We'll get right to trash here pretty quickly because we got Dan Orlovsky coming up at 11:45 to talk about, I assume, a little bit of the Pro Bowl. He's down there for all the festivities for that. And then, of course, the countdown to the Super Bowl. Senior Bowl week's continuing to go on. We heard from both Alabama and Auburn's coaches earlier in the show. Hour number 2, if you want to go back and rewatch that, if you're just joining the show live now. But right now, it is time for Trash, and it's brought to you by Mortgage Right. Rockstar, the big button, please.
Now, the women love you when you get out there. Why do you think that is?
Because I look good.
That is? You
I
look
smell good. I feel good.
And you sing good.
And make love good.
Oh, well, there we are. We don't have to ask anybody else. We got that from the source. There you are.
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
Hey, buying a home, major milestone in life, getting it right, comes down to the right advice, the right time. That's why we're proud to partner with the friends at Mortgage Right who do mortgages the right way. Visit them, Highway 280 in Birmingham. You can apply online, mortgageright.com/TNR, 205-815-9200, NMLS 2239, equal housing lender. Do you guys know what dysmorphia is?
Dysmorphia is when you have a fear of being dismembered.
Wow.
God, you nailed it.
Who does not have that fear?
What is money dysmorphia, though? Social media has a big part to play when it comes to young people and their financial decisions, with some feeling influenced or pressure to live a certain lifestyle due to the world of Instagram.
She seems very upset about this.
Well, now, a study has resurfaced that suggests young people are obsessed with becoming rich. I don't think this is anything new in the world, is it?
I don't believe this is only in the Instagram era.
In a study conducted by Qualtrics for Intuit Credit Karma in 2013, money dysmorphia was described as having a distorted view of one's finances that could lead them to make poor decisions. Now, in the survey, 59% of millennials and 48% of Gen Z admitted to being on their money goals. Now, Ted Jenkins, CEO of OXYGen Financial, said the high life showed on social media is partly to blame. Quote, social media has convinced 22-year-olds that they should be vacationing on the Amalfi Coast, Louis Vuitton bags, and an HD TV kitchen before they've earned it.
That is what, that's what Instagram is all about, right? Is making you look happy when you're really not.
It's hard, man. It's hard to not want all that stuff. I can't imagine being an 18-year-old nowadays. I mean, it was tough as it was for me when it was. I can't imagine now.
That's what, though. I mean, I just wish this generation would understand that the vast majority of what you see on Instagram is fake. People aren't as happy as they appear to be. You know, they're just showing the vacation. They're showing the best parts of their life. The rest of their life isn't what the vacations are.
Oh, I think you could take a good psychologist, psychiatrist, let them look at people's profiles on Instagram, and they probably could tell you what kind of personality you're dealing with.
And I would say, and this is going to be a low number, I think, but I would say 50% of the people you see on Instagram, 50, I think it's going to be a low number, paid for that on their credit card. And then they're paying that off for the next year or 18 months, that vacation that you're seeing them enjoy, or that cruise they're enjoying, and you don't see when the credit card bill comes in. They don't post that on Instagram.
That's right, Jim. They don't show me, here's the second job I had to take on get out of debt.
Oh, I remember when the LIBOR loan craze was going on in like the middle 2000s, and there were people, I was like, damn, I know he can't make that much money in the house he's living in, and then you started to see the foreclosures.
Yep. All right.
Really, unless you're following me on Facebook and just cashing Bitcoin, it's hard out there.
Jimmy Bitcoin.
You need to give him more than just a Sharpie and a poster, though, man. You need to step up your game.
This is honest to goodness truth, and I know they don't listen to the show, so I'm willing to say it. I saw this couple on Instagram that I know, and he was like, happy whatever anniversary to the love of my life, so. And like literally 2 weeks later, Jennifer's like, hey, did you hear so-and-so split up? I was like 2 weeks ago, he was just telling her. She's like, yeah, you couldn't believe that was true, could you? I mean, they got divorced in a way.
Did she like it, the
I don't
tweet
know.
or whatever?
No. I know 100%. I've seen people in those situations, and then but on social media, they look like they're in a happy relationship.
That's right.
An Australian man has escaped jail visiting a Hungry Jack's drive-thru with a visible erection after claiming he was suffering from the effects of, quote, super Viagra.
Not just normal.
What kind of drive-thru?
Hungry Jack.
I've never had a Hungry Jack.
That's a Burger King in Australia.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it is?
No.
Now, David Richardson.
I always preferred the Big Jack.
Pleaded guilty last week in local court, was given a good behavior bond. Now, Richardson's attorney, Peter Malley, told the court his client had taken a substance known as Pit Bull Super, which is super Viagra. How aggressive is this Viagra if it's called Pit Bull Super?
The Pit Bull has shades on, man.
It does, Mr. Worldwide.
Now, the substance, which contains multiple erectile dysfunction medicines, promises on the packet to, quote, give a man an erection that lasts for days. No, thank you.
It says last for days.
Hard pass.
Not only do I not want that, my wife doesn't want that.
Hey, the attorney went on and said it had the desired effect after enjoying his time with a number, quote, of ladies.
Oh, wow.
The 51-year-old Richardson reportedly remained rigid, and then his penis began to split. That's when he, quote, started to panic.
Whoa.
Yeah. It's working so well, I'm going to have two in a second. We're splitting.
Now, attorney explained that Richardson's genitals were too sensitive to wear shorts, so he draped a towel over the affected area and went through the drive-thru of Hungry Jack's. Richardson spoke to the Daily Mail and told the paper he had no intention of exposing himself. Went on to say the pill was way too strong. I'm surprised it's legal to sell that stuff.
I only took 3.
I was in a lot of pain. I wasn't trying to flash myself at anyone. I just wanted to grab a feed and go home. Richardson claimed it took several days to recover from the effects of the super Viagra.
Hey, there is no doubt you buy this at a Chevron, and I cannot imagine taking this. Like, just... Does that look like something that is safe to take?
No.
Just judge by the package.
And poor women involved, too.
Oh, my gosh.
They're limping to work today?
Yeah, ice-packed. The Pit Bull Super. Stay wild. Okay, Alex Collier served time as a helicopter pilot in the Army, and he claims, quote, he spoke to 2 aliens in the 1980s. Now, he has claimed the contact was so grand that he was actually taken into their spaceship, where he was forced to wear a special belt, so the aliens, known as the Andromedians, called Vicious in Mornay could talk to him over a 3-month period. Now, the encounter, the ex-U.S. helicopter Army pilot claims, happened when he was playing hide-and-seek in a cornfield and fell asleep.
Happens to us all.
He awoke to find himself on board of the ship. During a talk he gave in Japan in 2007, he explained, quote, I had a privilege in 1989 of spending 3 months, 92 days to be exact, living with them on their mothership. In Earth time.
It's always on the mothership, by the way.
From the moment that I left till they brought me back, I had only been gone 18 minutes. He went on to say time travel is a great thing.
By the way, Chandler Bing and Bull from Night Court had a kid.
Yes, Rockstar. He's got Matt Perry's eyes and Bull's mouth.
He looks like somebody local, too. I'll pull it here in a sec.
Like you're trying to figure it out, or you just don't want to say the name?
Yeah, no. I'm trying to figure it out. I went on to say the physical ship on the outside is 800 miles, and that it has to deal with the physical laws of the dimension it is in. The inside deals with different physical laws. Collier still gives talks all around the world, although in recent years it appears he has turned himself into somewhat of a crypto expert, which he weaves into his alien talks.
See, I
weave it in.
Oh, yeah. You know what? It is.
Oh, let me see.
Yep.
A little bit. That's who I went with.
No, I think Dunaway's on it.
But that's got a little of him in it too, right?
Yeah, a little bit. Harvard psychologist says dogs probably dream about their owners while they sleep.
Oh, Lance.
Now, according to English website Independent, Dr. Deidre Barrett, clinical and evolutionary psychologist at Harvard Medical School, spent years studying sleep behavior in humans and says it's likely dogs dream about their everyday experiences just like humans. Went on to say there's no reason to think animals are any different since dogs are generally extremely attached to their human owners. It's likely the dog is dreaming of your face, your smell, and of pleasing or annoying you.
Your dogs are dreaming of running as fast as they can in circles nonstop.
No,
that's what your dogs are dreaming of.
I see their feet doing this a lot when they're
running. That's what they're doing.
Yep.
I have never seen more energetic dogs, Rockstar, than these two dogs Lance has.
They're always running.
I mean, it was like the Rockstar, they were doing this, and they were like trying to attack each other, but neither one of them would stop long enough for the other one to attack. So they just keep like running in circles, chasing each other. And then Lance is like, all right, get out. So he opens the door. They bolt outside and look out, and they're just doing it again outside. It's like all they did was move the game outside.
This is one of the best videos of a dog running in its sleep, and it's so sad what happens. But
no, wait a minute, something sad happened.
No, like it's just funny. Like I mean, he is having the best dreams of his life, and he kind of slowly comes to. You'll see. I mean, he is getting after it.
Yeah, no, they haven't done that. But.
Oh, bless his heart.
Oh God, did he put a hole in the wall?
No, yeah.
Oh, that was already there.
He woke up and ran to the wall.
Yeah. He woke up and was like, I am not running through this great field.
An Atlanta dance studio went viral after posting a reel of its Mommy and Me pole fitness workshop, sparking endless comments on social media about whether or not the class was inappropriate for young children. But Pink Dance and aerial studio owner Tia Harris for short, said that she wants people to
shorten that.
Understand what happens in the class is no different from gymnastics or playing on monkey bars and vertical poles at a park playground. Now, many online accuse the studio of sexualizing children. Harris, who has no background in exotic dancing, says those claims are false. The instructors, who also do not have an exotic dancing background, and class participants are fully clothed. There is no stripping involved, and the workshop is all about the parents having fun with their kids in a positive environment, she said.
All right, Gigi, do you want to dance to What's Love Got to Do With It, or Pour Some Sugar on Me today?
Harris said she's received nothing but positive feedback from participants in the sold-out classes, with one parent saying her son felt like, quote, Spider-Man after taking the class. Pole fitness, which does not always include dancing, has grown in popularity over the last few years, as many has caught onto its physical and mental health benefits. I do know somebody's got a pole in their house.
You do know that?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Fireman?
Nope.
That was always at Sachs Elementary. We used to go to the firehouse.
That's a load-bearing pole right there.
Yeah.
We need to have that.
We'd go to the firehouse downtown, the Anniston Fire Department, and you would get to slide. Each kid would get to slide down the pole, and they had the incident. Is what it became known as.
What, did one of your girls go head first?
Well, nobody got to slide down the pole after that, Lance. I'll tell you that.
Probably a unathletic dude.
The incident.
Yeah.
Yes.
Didn't grasp hold right. All right, that is Trash Today, brought to you by
Are you a veteran looking for a VA loan? Mortgage Right has been advocating for veterans since their company began. As a veteran-owned, operated company committed to your well-being, they can help you find the best terms available, guide you through every step of the process. Visit their location, Highway 280 in Birmingham. You can apply at mortgageright.com/TNR or call 205-815-9200. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Our Urology Centers of Alabama sound of the day is from Bo Nix down at the Senior Bowl. I'll ask you guys after you hear from Bo here how you think his weeks went, and has he improved his stock with the NFL folks? Bo Nix, I'm playing for 5 different offenses in college.
I think it's important, 5 offenses in 5 years, 5 different play callers, and so I've been around the block. I've been able to learn from a lot of different people who've had a lot of different success. They've been able to coach a lot of great quarterbacks in the past and lead a lot of great offenses, all of them, in their respectful ways, but I think just along the way, I learned and picked up a lot from each individual and grew during my time. I had a lot of experience to grow, and so however that translate, next, I think it just show the adaptability and the comfortability that I have being uncomfortable and having to learn new things. But I took it as a fun challenge. I'm a football junkie, and so I just enjoy learning different plays and how you can name the same play different ways. But it was always fun to me, and it was a fast learner and just adapting, and I think just in the future, maybe one day when maybe if I get to coach someday in high school or something, I get to put all their offenses together and make them my own.
Yeah, Bo Nix down at the Reese's Senior Bowl game coming up this weekend. Today was the last big practice with the Scouts, and I'll tell you, on all the networks on our 5 screens here, Bo Nix has gotten a lot of airtime this week.
Yeah, he and Penix, I was watching earlier today, leading offenses. I don't know. Bo's a fascinating guy in the NFL.
He is. I never thought he would be in this
Me
spot.
neither.
But, he's got a chance, if he really wows, that he could be back half of the first round. I don't think he falls out of the second round, though.
Yeah.
So you think he's definitely a first 2-day guy?
I do.
Yeah. Interesting. Could be the starting quarterback of the Falcons someday.
It could be. You know who tore it up yesterday, apparently, was Ladd McConkey. He was one of the big guys they were talking about yesterday.
Really?
Yeah. He had a huge day, McConkey did, apparently, and people were raving about this guy. And Belichick's not in the league to draft him, so somebody else got to pick him.
I have seen Ladd. I mean, I've seen him for months as like the 5th wide receiver taken off the board. And this is kind of a deep wide receiver draft. The thing about the quarterbacks this year are they're so athletic, and I think that might end up hurting Michael Penix Jr. Because Michael Penix Jr. is the one odd man out when it comes to how athletic Caleb Williams is, obviously Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, even a guy like Drake May.
Yeah, but you're saying that more and more people in the NFL are looking for not necessarily Lamar Jackson, but a Patrick Mahomes type.
A Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw the 42, 47 yards he had on Sunday. I mean, that was really the difference.
It was as much as Lamar Jackson had, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, we talked to Dan Orlovsky about the NFL in our final segment of the day coming up. That sound from Bo brought to you by our friends at UCA, Urology Centers of Alabama. UrologyCentersAlabama.com is the website. UCA has over 35 urologists on hand, 16 locations all over the state of Alabama, treating all your urological needs from prostate health to kidney stones and everything in between. Remember, in the month of February, to get those prostate checked out, prostate exams. It's a prostate health month and a lot more with our friends at UrologyCentersAlabama.com. UrologyCentersAlabama.com at that website to schedule an appointment today.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Dunaway.
What are you waiting for? It's non-stop gaming action at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Come play more than 900 of the latest and greatest games around, featuring fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can wager and win on horse and greyhound races from all over the world. There are more ways to win at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Birmingham Racecourse Casino, located off I-459 exit 31 Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Bandwagon wants to remind you that baseball and softball season is right around the corner, and their shelves are stocked with everything your kid needs. From grip tape to gloves to custom uniforms, Bandwagon has all the gear, big and small, for those ballpark days. Until February 3rd, you spend $100 on baseball or softball equipment, and Bandwagon will give you $20 off. Just tell them the Next Round sent you. Visit locations in Cahaba Heights, Homewood, and Trustful, or go online to bandwagonsports.com. Next Round listeners, it's time to jump on the bandwagon.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Let's face it, a home is one of the most powerful assets you can have, and our friends at Mortgage Right want to help you build wealth through home ownership. Mortgage Right is all about providing competitive rates, a variety of loan products, and a multitude of resources for a seamless home buying experience. They treat their borrowers like family and are always looking to bring more happy homeowners under their roof. See more by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR today and start living. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, equal housing lender.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Want more of The Next Round? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Final segment of the show right here. Dan Orlovsky will join us in just a second to talk about the NFL. You know, one thing that you sort of have to keep an eye on in the NFL is how you're able to manipulate certain contracts, and you find out usually on the course of throughout the course of a season that they're able to have all these players together because somebody worked out a special deal. Christian McCaffrey is only up against the 49ers cap for $3.4 million this year.
Mm-hmm. That'll change.
For instance, Nyheim Hines and Clyde Edwards-Helaire cost the Bills and the Chiefs more against their cap than Christian McCaffrey did. That's because in the trade deal with the Panthers are still paying for basically 84.3% of his cap money. The Panthers are. He didn't play for the Panthers. But 84% of his cap money is still being paid by the Panthers against their cap.
You know, McCaffrey's one of those few running backs that can get paid.
Yeah.
I mean, just because he's so good. And I think running backs, we know this by now. I mean, they're replaceable.
Yeah.
Yep. Dan Orlovsky standing by. We're about to jump on with him to talk about a little bit of Pro Bowl, some Senior Bowl, and, of course, the NFL's championship game as we get ready. I think the teams arrive on Sunday usually.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah.
They're going to stay out at Lake Las Vegas. Dan is with us now from ESPN, and he joins us each week courtesy of MyBookie.ag. Code Next Round when you sign on at MyBookie.ag. What is up, Dan? How are you?
I'm doing really good. I get to see we're down in Florida for the Pro Bowl, like you guys had mentioned, Orlando. I come from Connecticut, so we saw the sun for the first time in like 6 weeks, so I'm in a tremendous mood.
Let it hit that skin, Dan. Lay out today. Let it hit the skin.
Hey, no, you ain't lying, dude. It's how many days can I not have a shirt on for the rest of the weekend?
Hey, this is going to be a big quarterback draft, and I know you watch a lot of college football. You get paid to talk about the NFL, but we know how good Caleb Williams is, Jaden Daniels, Drake May's got a lot of potential, but Bo Nix, guy we watched 3 years at Auburn and then transfers to Oregon. And, you know, the thing I've always questioned about Bo is consistently, is he going to be able to fit it in those tight windows that you threw into when you played in the NFL? I think people would laugh because he led the FBS with an 82% completion percentage, but it seemed like in that system it was more point guard, quick hits, two-step drops. It wasn't traditionally what guys have got to do in the NFL to move offenses.
Yeah, and there's not necessarily a lot wrong with that, with the offense that he played in Oregon, because that's what they were asked to play, and he operated it. We see a lot of guys in the NFL play in that capacity. Shoot, I've watched Joe Burrow in Cincinnati for a couple years, very much so play in that world. That doesn't make it easy because you got to be, consistent with your decision making. The ball placement's got to be elite because when you're playing in that way, you got to have really good yards after the catch. Oregon did this year. I think the Bo Nix conversation is going to be really interesting because the two things that he has unquestionably that people are going to love in his favor. One, he has played a ton of college football. We're kind of seeing that play itself out with Brock Purdy and the benefit of that. And the moment doesn't feel too big for Brock, and he's seen a lot, and so he's played a lot of ball. So, Bo has played a ton. And two, he's very physically talented in every aspect. He is a fantastic thrower of the football, very sudden and twitchy athlete. He's built the right way. So there's a lot that people are going to like about him. I think the thing that people are going to question the most, and I haven't dove in and studied Bo, but I think the thing that people are going to want to figure out in really their evaluation is, for a guy that has played as much football as he, it almost felt like when moments got really tense, he did as well. And he started to lose some of his, patience, lose some of his mechanics, some of the decision making. And so I think that if he was a younger player, you would sit there and say, well, he's got to get more reps in those moments. But he's been in those moments so much. And there's evidence there that says, hey, does he tense up in those situations, or is it just how it went for him in college football? I think that will be the biggest thing that people are going to have to figure out for themselves.
I know it has nothing to do with the college uniform you wear or anything, but is there any hesitation with you on Drake May with other North Carolina quarterbacks you've seen in recent years come out without as much college experience? With Drake May, how do you feel about his game?
No, I love Drake May's game. I called a couple of Drake's games when he was a freshman at Carolina. I think, one, thank God that C.J. Stroud came from Ohio State and is playing as good as he has, so we don't necessarily have to say that about Ohio State kids anymore. I think the thing to be very clear about Drake May is this. He went to Carolina because his family went to Carolina. He did not go to Carolina because that was his only offer, or he had offers maybe from your middle tier, I guess, or maybe middle to upper tier ACC schools. Drake May could have gone to anywhere in the country. I mean, he was a unbelievably highly recruited young man, but he went there because his parents and his brother were deep in Carolina blue. So I think that's important for people to understand, especially if you're a Chicago Bear fan, a Patriot fan, or a Commander fan. I love Drake's game. He's Big Ben to me. He is very much so like this big, like loose, which is a really big loose, meaning like not this super muscular big bodied guy, but just a big frame, loose, almost like sloppy mechanic athlete. Big Ben never really had elite mechanics, but he was an elite athlete and playmaker. Drake is absolutely that. I do think that you're going to have to sit there with him for 2 or 3 years and really hone in on some of the mechanics. He's got a little bit of a lazy elbow at times. His feet can be very sporadic, but that's a talent. It's a skill that you want. And in many ways, to be elite, you have to need in the NFL. So I'm a huge fan of Drake's. I've said this. I don't think it's a lock that Caleb goes one. I think Chicago does take a quarterback. But I think that conversation 1, 2, and 3 is going to have a ton of conversation around it.
Dan Orlovsky is with us. He joins us each week courtesy of MyBookie.ag. Code NEXTROUND to get that sign-on bonus when you sign on at MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag. To what level are you surprised that Bill Belichick will not be coaching this year? All these jobs have now been filled, and he does not have one of them.
Yeah, shocked. And I know that I'm in the minority of that. I'm shocked. It's Bill Belichick. New England went to the playoffs in 21. The roster has been absolutely depleted, and that defense still played well. Now the roster got depleted because of his decision-making in the roster. And I'm shocked that either this. One, he was so unwilling to give up any type of decision-making power or most decision-making power when it comes to the roster building. And or two, whoever was obviously Atlanta in conversation with them, like did not like the offensive people that he was bringing with him. It's one of those two. It's one of those two reasons. And so I'm surprised. I still would be very interested. Some of these teams that don't have a lockdown defensive coordinator, you got to try. You got to ask. It might sound silly, but you have to ask for both him and Mike Vrabel. Will you guys be willing to be defensive coordinator? So to be 15 wins shy and the greatest coach of all time and to not get a job in a cycle that has seen defensive-minded people, that's shocking.
People believe Pete Carroll will coach again. He's 72 years old, but they talk about the energy of Pete Carroll. Do you think he'll have another go somewhere?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I would say this. I think that what you're going to see in the NFL over the next couple of years, in my opinion, I don't know if Coach Carroll will be a head coach. I would not be surprised by it. But one of the things that we're seeing in the NFL right now is some of these coordinators, these younger coordinators that are really good, both offensive and defensive guys, they're just getting plucked after a year or two, of good, defensive or offensive unit performance. If you're a head coach and you get a job and you're sitting here going, hey, these coordinators are really good, but I'm going to lose them in a year or two, it might make sense to start looking at some of the older head coaches that maybe are no longer head coaches, that can't get a head coaching job, or maybe they don't want that anymore. They just want to be around ball and coach ball. And like maybe Pete Carroll goes to be is a defensive coordinator somewhere, just because you're not going to lose him, right? You're not going to sit there and go, hey, in 2 years when we're really good, this guy's going to jump, to go get his head coaching opportunity. So I won't be surprised if he's a head coach again, but I could also see some of these coaches that maybe are a little bit older, really relishing the coordinator role.
Throughout the weekend on ESPN and ABC, the Pro Bowl festivities in Orlando, is there a way to take kick-tack-toe and make it into a game in the yard? Because I don't enjoy throwing the bean bags into a hole. What's that called?
Cornhole.
Cornhole. I don't like cornhole.
Bago.
But kick-tack-toe is something I think I could get into.
Yeah, you only need like a 30 by 30 wall to be portable and built in your backyard, and then breakable frames within that wall as well. So
okay, got that.
It's cool. I don't know if you could replicate it. There's some. I did yesterday. We taped the closest to the pin. That was a fun, kind of exciting ending type of experience. The kick-tack-toe is cool. I think the quarterback precision stuff is pretty cool. The offensive line, defensive line, like sled push is cool. The kick-tack-toe, I think, is tough to replicate.
Yeah, that's it. How would you is there anything you would add to Pro Bowl weekend to change it? Is there any skills competition you would like to see these players perform in if you were Roger Goodell?
So I think they're doing it this year. I believe, remember back years ago, they used to almost do the obstacle courses with guys.
Yeah.
Almost like
Battle of the Network Stars.
School Gladiators.
Yeah, American Gladiators. Yeah,
like something like that around like the football obstacle world, I think would be really fun, just because it's super competitive. A bunch of different guys could be a part of it, and I think it get juices flowing with guys. So I think something like deep into that would be cool.
Yeah. I liked American Gladiators growing up. That was such a good show.
Such a great show.
Oh, it was.
Such a great show.
He is Dan Orlovsky. He'll be back with us next week to actually talk about the Super Bowl out in Vegas. We will do that next Thursday with Dan. Thank you very much, Dan. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, guys. You too.
All right, buddy. Take care. Dan Orlovsky with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. He joins us each week courtesy of MyBookie.ag. Code next round. When you sign on at MyBookie.ag, has the Super Bowl line moved, Lance? I haven't really looked at it.
I think it's still stuck at 1.5.
1.5, so that's probably where it's going to stay.
It's going to be an interesting week. We end our show with this story, and I had, before the breaking news happened on this story, I had this story down to end the show with because of the text that went on with this. But former Alabama baseball coach Brad Bohannon has received the longest NCAA show cause in its history. The former Alabama baseball coach, Brad Bohannon, has received a 15-year show cause from the NCAA in addition to a $5,000 fine and 3 years of probation.
He will never coach again.
I'm really surprised he didn't get a lifetime ban. I mean, that's essentially what you gave him. Why not just drop the hammer and make a point here, you know?
Now, on the flip side of that,
assuming they could,
Bert Neff, a real estate investor and youth baseball coach in Indiana, has been charged with destroying evidence, tampering with witnesses, and providing false statements to the FBI. He was the guy on the other end of the alleged phone call from the Alabama coach. And it turns out he wasn't just placing the bet. According to a story in The Athletic, with Neff's information, individuals labeled as Gambler 1, Gambler 2, Gambler 3, and Gambler 4 all wagered on an April 28, 2023 game, according to the documents. And here is the text he sent. After, you guys remember the Alabama starting pitcher, I think it was Luke Holman, the ace on the staff, was a late scratch, and apparently, according to the reporting, that's when Bohannon let Neff know that they were moving on from the starter as a scratch. He says in a text, and this comes from the FBI, quote, "Now they are throwing a bigger turd. F-man, F," Neff sent to Gambler 1 in an encrypted message. The document continues. Neff told Gambler 3 that the game has now become, I don't know how many, this is a 1 and 11.0% winner. What 1 bazillion, whatever that is.
But what was the communication between Bohannon and the Neff guy?
He texted him on, according to the NCAA, this is what they maintain, on an encrypted message via Signal. All caps, Hammer, the pitcher's name, is out for sure. Let me know when I can tell LSU. Hurry.
So you got a bunch of dummies, though, because they only won the game 8-6.
I know.
Yeah, it was close. Bama boys fought hard that day to cover up for the quote-unquote turd that was starting a bigger turd.
A bigger turd.
Yeah. By the way, in that whole exchange there, he tried to call Gambler 1, 2, 3, and 4 and ask him about what the FBI was asking. Hey, you got to destroy your phones. You got to do this, get new phones. And they were crushing phones and getting new phones all the time. And the FBI still had all the information that they needed.
These guys were not exactly criminal masterminds, is what you're telling me.
That cloud's got a lot in it.
Yes, it does.
It does.
Be careful.
All right, that's our show today. We're back with you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central Time, and we're down at the World of Wills tomorrow afternoon. Stay tuned for more details on that. Until next time, God bless you, and God bless America.